gods an ancient world. Forged in darkness and blood. The gods have forgotten us. The immortals fall from the heavens, and terrors roam the land. Thousands of years I have waited, deep in the bowels of the earth. The seal will soon be broken. Lose your hopes, mortals. Your doom is near.
Good evening, and welcome back to our playthrough of Notte Eterna. The eternal night is around us, and the moon is smiling down, so let us get back into our story. I am Kevin, I'm your host and your game master for this evening. I want to thank the RPG Academy for letting us take over their stream for a few hours here for part 2 of our 3-part journey. So, if you are just joining, make sure you go catch up with the previous episode, either here on Twitch until tomorrow or out on YouTube for RPG Academy. But let's go ahead. Let's meet my beautiful, fine players who are going to be taking this journey with us and breathing some life into this world that we're thrilled to do. So let's start right here at the top with my good friend, Bleak Season. How are you, sir?
Ahoy, I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. Happy to be here and excited to get back into this business of living in the dark. I always have that. Now I got that Bruce Springsteen song, Dancing in the Dark, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Was it, what was that? What was the song? Was it Dancing? Anyways,
Dancing in the Dark. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm in the dark about it.
That's it. That's it. Glad to have you back. Remind everybody, please, who you are playing, your character, and what exactly he is all about.
My character is Ubold. He's an Urakian, which is a race that has, in his particular case, sort of water buffalo trait. So he looks like this giant, sort of shambling, water buffalo-headed creature. He's a druid, keeper of the secret flame. He is someone who has a lot of wisdom and very, very interested in sharing that wisdom, at every turn, every possibility at length, and really without taking much of a pause to breathe or do anything like that. So he's a fount of information, of wisdom, of secrets. And yeah, like me, just can't shut him up.
Very true. Well, I look forward to hearing more of his droning words of wisdom. So thanks for having him back.
Thanks for the invite.
Moving right along to player number 2, Beth. Hello, welcome back this evening. How are you?
Well, hello. I'm great, very great. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Excited?
I'm glad to be here with the 4 of you.
No, I'm really excited. This is a very cool setting so far. I am playing Emmeline, who is just peak cleric. She has dedicated her life to finding and helping anybody, which frankly in this world is everybody. And as we learned last week, it has gotten her into a little bit of trouble here and there, being a bit too trusting perhaps. But, she has a light within that she will shine, and it's gonna happen. So, yeah, excited to see where this goes.
Beautiful. Yes, I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad to have you playing Emmeline again. Great character. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does tonight. So thanks for being back.
Thank you.
Next, we have Gainer. How are you? How's it going this evening?
Yeah, it's going well. Thanks for having me. What's up, gang? My name is Gainer. I am a queer TTRPG actor, and tonight I'll be playing Sarah, who is a blood dart assassin, perhaps the younger of the crew, the least experienced, but she's making it work. She's feeling particularly validated tonight after not trusting Runa for absolutely no good reason, but it worked out in her favor. And yeah, she's on a quest here with her adventuring party here to try and see if she can do some good in the world, and see if she can figure out why the shadows tend to cling to her. So yeah, super excited to be here.
Excellent. Glad to have you back. I'm looking forward to getting back into this with you tonight. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
And final player for this evening, also serving as our producer on this awesome, amazing stream, that's Miko, Master of Puppets. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I don't know about Master of Puppets, but there's at least a couple of things that I'm master of that will go unnamed at this point. Hi, I'm Miko, otherwise known as the Okayist GM, at the _Okayist_GM on all the socials. I am indeed a producer of this and other shows out there. Feel free to check out my socials if you're at all interested in any of that kind of awesome stuff. I am playing Notte Eterna. a Northman barbarian who is old, but nobody really knows just how old, and he probably doesn't even know how old he is, considering his level of intellectual aptitude. But he's pretty good with the weapons that he wields, and he does everything he can to protect his companions around him.
Absolutely, yes. Well, thank you for being back as well. Appreciate you, and I appreciate all four of you coming back to join me tonight. So thank you so very much. As a quick reminder, yes, I am Kevin. I am found online at the socials at KevRan Games, and we'll find out a little bit more about the other projects that the five of us work on a little bit later. But for now, let's take a moment to dive back into the world of the Eternal Night, now that we are here in Nier for La Notte Eterna. Last time, we had our players, four heroes who have ventured together for some time now, found their way through the Ashen Land into Petrolta, which is a city that is a conglomeration of both human and Karevi architecture and backgrounds. They found their way here after a recent excursion through the Crater of Boiling Fire, where they were hoping to find a little bit of respite, but soon found themselves entranced and ensorcelled in a little bit of a problem with a young woman who was being attacked. They came to her aid and helped her seek out her mentor, the Archivist Minghil, who they rescued. But alas, the young woman was in fact up to some nefarious purposes. She betrayed them and stole an item that is necessary to open some sort of vault near the city here, and she escaped into the shadows. So the party, having rescued Minghil, are now wondering what exactly comes next in the Ashen Land and what exactly they've gotten themselves involved in. So, when we open up, the night is dark, and it is cool and chill as it typically is, for the sun has not risen in the world of Nier in 161 years, ever since its god of the sun, Laun, was cast out and imprisoned by his arch-nemesis Demian. As we find ourselves here in the dark, we are once again in Petrolta. We have moved out of the secret hideout and encampment that we have rescued Minghil from, and the party has ventured back up onto the surface of the city of Petrolta to reconvene and figure out what exactly comes next. Specifically, Minghil is a gnome. He's older, he has a long white beard, glasses, and he has a little bit of a disheveled look to his hair, to his face, because he was recently imprisoned and tortured, perhaps, maybe for a little bit. So he looks at everybody. So, who precisely are all of you? How did you know to come find me? What is going on here?
Ubold will just sort of side-eyed look over at Emmeline.
Well, okay, so we were tricked, and it's not the first time it's happened. Probably won't be the last. We were told by someone who said that they were, I guess, your mentee, someone you were training, and it turns out they were lying the whole time. So, you're here. We're here. Now what?
Well, that's quite a mistake that was made, I would certainly say, but luckily we have some information we can glean out of this. This young woman that you spoke of, this, he seems to be thinking for the word for, Runa, I believe you said her name was.
Yes.
You said she sought me out. Why did she say, because I was her mentor, I was her teacher? That doesn't quite fit.
We know that now.
Yeah, her whole deal kind of didn't fit. So, a lot of people are saying that we should have probably not trusted her, but, what's past, is in the past, we gotta move forward. I guess my question to you is what's your deal? Like, why is everybody so worried about what you're up to?
Well, I am an archivist, a rather good one, I should certainly like to think. I have spent my entire life devoting myself to the study of the ancient ways of the world before the sky fell and became dark, the time before Laon was imprisoned, and I like to think that I know a bit about the distant magics of the land here, and I specifically was looking for a very potent scroll that is part of the prophecy. Certainly you know of the prophecy.
We definitely know about the prophecy, but maybe if you could just tell us, your interpretation.
We talk about it all the time, but I'd love to hear it in your words.
Mm-hmm.
Summarize, please.
Well, certainly, for the sake of brevity, I would not like to go on and on about such a thing, but the prophecy speaks that there will be a time after the dark falls upon the land in which a great discovery will be made. After the discovery is brought into the light of the world, there will be a great change, that there will be perhaps a new look upon the land, as the history will be rewritten and will be increased by this discovery. It would be heeded by the falling of a meteor. You, of course, have no doubt come across the meteors in your travels. I could tell you are very learned adventurers who have experienced quite a bit, so.
In many ways, we're sort of amateur archivists ourselves. We know quite a lot about things, and, we find ourselves pretty well informed, but any information you want to share with us is definitely appreciated, even if it's probably just going to be stuff we already know.
Well, Sarah, I would like to think that normally I would make you roll a deception check for such a thing, but Ming Hill seems to be taking what you guys are saying at face value, and he goes, yes, it is good to know that I am surrounded by folks of like mind. Yes, the meteor, we, as you know, have come across these meteors many a time. This area is rather prevalent with them, it would seem. They are bits of the sky that fall due to the celestial war that rages above us even now. Sometimes there are artifacts, sometimes there are bits of history, and sometimes perhaps there are even bits of glimpses of the future that we can see within those bits that fall to the land. And I am after such a thing.
You perhaps, is there one in particular that you're after? I was for sure paying attention when Zatara was talking about these things, but I guess I'm just wondering if there was one specifically you were after, or...
Yes, of course. Well, the artifact that Runa escaped with is a key of sorts. It is used to open a great vault somewhere in the Underdark here, deep within the Karevi lands, beneath the surface of Petralta. I did get it at a great personal cost, he says, and he kind of winces a little bit as he feels the bruise forming on his cheek from his getting worked over by these guys. And he says, yes, I would say that I paid for that quite dearly, but it is a key that opens a vault that houses the scroll of Melko. And he says this like you all should know that this is like some big important thing, so he waits for you all to have a reaction.
I gasp. Scroll of the scroll of milk toast. My God.
Oh, the scroll of Melko.
Sorry.
One.
No, I misspoke. I knew that, of course.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is a scroll that is used by prophets and by academics alike.
This is the book that's like a book that is bigger than the book. He explained it kind of confusingly, but this is the thing that Zatara was talking about, right?
Yes,
It
Zatara.
sounds like you have a problem. Best of luck, then.
All right, well, it sounds like Ubald's on his way out, so...
You are simply leaving? You don't wish to help me in this quest? You already came this way and rescued me from those ruffians below.
Ubald is my ride, so I can't really...
We were asked to come and rescue you, but no one has asked us to help retrieve any sort of scroll. Are you perhaps intending to ask us?
Well, I thought that I already had. Well, I suppose I had thought that you were already involved in the quest, but Since I know that you are not, I will ask you, will you aid me in this quest?
Yes.
Look at Emmeline.
Yeah, I also glance over at Evelyn.
I like the cut. I like your cut. You are definitely a elf who is well aware of how important these things are. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
What exactly would be the downside to Runa discovering this scroll before you would?
Yeah, maybe she needs it.
Well, according to legend, according to myth, and according to the prophecy itself, the Scroll of Melko specifically holds a certain passage that will detail the events that will lead to the Great Change, the events that will shape the world of Nier for the better or for the worse, depending on who intervenes. The scrolls... Oh, please, go right ahead, Mr. Irakian.
I wasn't finished. What I guess I'm asking is, why would your hands be the right hands for this and not her hands?
Well, I am but a humble archivist who has made the scroll my life's work, as I have previously stated. And if she has already beguiled you once, she certainly has methods to beguile others, and perhaps you again. I would suspect, if she is who I believe she may be a part of the Obsidian, an order who seeks out the scroll so that they may use it for their own purposes. They wish to have a claim here in the world of Nier, and to change it for the worse. And I believe they may use the scroll for this purpose.
But what about you? What would you do with it? Why should we help you get it?
Certainly. Well, I would study it. I would take it with my other archivists who are a member of my sect in the distant land of Amber, and I will look into it to make sure that it is safeguarded properly. I will make sure that we grasp every bit of knowledge from the scroll and from the prophecy to make sure the world will be safeguarded.
Can I lean in like real close to him, like, get way up in his personal space here and make an insight check? I want to I'm not even trying to be subtle about it.
Okay.
I'm looking him down in his eyes and looking him up and down, really looking to see what his reaction is.
Sure, absolutely. I think you could definitely do that. You all were recently tricked by Runa, so I don't think it's out of line at all for you
Absolutely
to try
not.
to figure
And
out
also,
what's
these
going
are
on.
my friends, and I'm not looking to make any new friends. 23.
23. Yeah, you can definitely tell that this guy, without a doubt, is being very honest, very earnest, very sincere. This is a guy who is really worried about the knowledge, and he's worried about making sure that this is in the right hands. So
I lean back and I say, nope, not evil, just a nerd.
See?
I'm not
trust
quite
people?
certain what a nerd is. However,
It's a type of worm that eats books. Don't worry about it.
that was more of a rhetorical question. You see, as you so aptly pointed out yourself, we were recently bamboozled. And I look over at Emmeline.
you tricked them? What did you do to trick them, elven lady?
I didn't trick them per se. More that I trust a little too easily, and not for the first time. It's gotten us into a bit of trouble.
And since only a fool repeats the same actions over and over, hoping something changes, we would perhaps be best served by being a little bit more discerning in the future.
Not too discerning, right? Because
Right.
And
then,
so
right? Right,
I'm
Abel?
not finished. And so you will pardon us if we simply try to make sure that you are indeed the party that we should lend our not inconsiderable assistance to. Knockin'
Oh,
I am not finished.
He talks slow. Just let him. He'll tell you when he's finished.
Knockin', what do you think?
I think you're being a little bit too far gone in this case, Ubold. Just
See?
because someone hasn't necessarily earned our trust yet doesn't mean that they have earned our distrust. Certainly, if I can take a dagger in the back from someone that I call friend, I think we can at least take this little man at his word for now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Emmeline's mistake kind of did feel like a dagger in the back. I'm sure that's what you're referring to.
Knockin' is just going to lean over Sarah, breathe out heavily as the cold frost escapes his mouth and causes little icicles to form on her eyebrows.
She's just going to quietly take the knife back from Knockin' and put it back into her belt and just desperately try not to look at him.
It seems we are.
Who said I was finished?
It's like it really is like watching two boulders talk to each other. It's
Already said more words than you've said in the entire month prior to today. I thought you had perhaps expanded your entire allotment.
Just because you have wax between your ears and don't hear when I speak so much doesn't mean that I don't speak, Ubold.
Wow,
What
did
do
you
you
guys
call
see this
wax?
cool stuff in the room? I say loudly, trying to stop this before it gets intense.
It's like watching two icebergs.
yeah.
Slowly crush.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Very well, I guess we will help you.
I.
I said I wasn't done.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna
Emmeline,
be here all
you wanna
day
take
now.
this over?
Emmeline, do you
Yes.
trust him?
Yes, of course I do. I don't
still
know
think we should do
that
it.
should mean much.
And I trust Emmeline.
Oh boy.
If Emmeline is going to go on this quest, then I'm going to go with her. And so are you. And he looks at Ubold and Sarah, like, back and forth.
Oh, okay.
If nothing else, it'll be fun.
I think I'm probably just gonna go with it because I did stab Knockin' Air about 5 minutes ago, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't stab me back. So probably just gonna go with it.
You'll have to give me a minute while I explain to Knockin' what the word fun means. Then we may proceed.
Oh boy.
I can't tell whether that was a burn or whether that was genuine.
It's very hard to tell. Best to just let it be.
I can certainly see that your party has an interesting dynamic. I don't wish to get in the way of anything, so I think I'll just stand over here. And he steps out from the middle of all four of you.
Because Sarah looks genuinely confused. I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, maybe
Is this abnormal?
don't give them space to continue this because they'll just keep going forever. But what can we do? What do you need from us? What? I mean, how do we carry on here?
Well, there are one of two options as I see it. If this young woman, this Willoy woman named Runa, if she took the device, the key, as it were, to the vault, there is one of two things she shall do with it. One, she will take it directly to the vault and try to enter within to try to get the scroll of Melko, but she may not be fully aware that there are traps and obstacles one must bypass to get that far. Or option two, she is simply going to take it to someone else who would do such a thing themselves. I would say it's only a matter of time before our paths will diverge upon the vault itself.
So we're headed to a big vault. Yeah, cool. Okay. So is this the type of vault that we want to steal from?
Well, I wouldn't entirely think it'd be a good idea to steal from the vault of the ancients, but if that is the sort of thing you may wish to try, young woman, I cannot stop anything that you wish to do. You are someone who can do as they please, so I
Thought
generally
you
don't.
said we needed to get this scroll of milk, whatever.
I
Isn't
believe
that in the vault? Wouldn't
Is
we
m-
be taking it from this vault place anyway?
I think it was pronounced milk goat.
I
believe.
can
Right, yeah,
see
that.
you are rather astute, friend. That you
I
are
am the least, whatever words you just said, as of all of these people, I assure you.
He's not lying. Now,
Mayhill just
we-
looks to Emmeline and just kind of.
Somehow you're the least offensive, I guess, of the group.
Can't help it.
let us focus perhaps on finding this Runa and the thing she took from you, and we can ascertain whether or not we need to worry about the vault and the scroll and Milkdud or whatever his name is at a later date.
Well, the only problem that I see with the plan, he says, steepling his fingers, is the fact that although I know that the vault contains the scroll of Malco, I do not entirely know its location as of now. We may need to find additional information here within the city of someone who might be able to tell us more.
Luckily, I know a guy.
Really?
His name is Zatar.
Yes, my friend Zatar, he is a bit of a merchant, but he has an eye for lore, and he has been in the city for quite some time. And as he is a Karevi, he will know things about the city that perhaps others may not.
And
Zatar is as much a merchant as Knockinair is a ballet dancer.
Well, you did look rather spry. I could see you dancing. You do the move with the arms above, and do you do the lifts and things?
Listen, what I and my tribe once did ages past is none of your business.
I'll send you the videos. It was beautiful.
You say the strangest things, Sarah. Let us
Certainly.
return to Zatar, then he will certainly be happy to see that his friend Minghill has been returned in decent enough condition.
Very well. I have a good feeling about this. And he kind of straightens up his robes a little bit. And shall we? And he'll start walking through the city towards where the shop is. So,
I turn
Before-
back into wind,
okay.
which is something that we should be able to do for the
For
next
8
8
hours,
hours.
that's it.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
No, I don't. But I think about it. Continue.
You highly consider it, absolutely. So the four of you, unless there's anything else that you wish to do first, will follow him back to Zatar's shop, or
I think so. Do we want to search this room, gang, to see if there's anything?
I think we already left the place.
yeah, you guys are back up on the surface level,
Oh, okay.
out of the
All
little
right, cool.
hideout, I guess you could say.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, then, yeah, no. I can't think of anything myself.
Okay. So the four of you follow Minghill back through the city. As you recall, Zatar's merchant shop, his mercantile shop, is on the northern end of the city, where there was a bit more of the Karevi architecture here. As you make your way through, you see the different sections of the city. Again, they're intermingled between human architecture. It looks almost like an old kingdom, pieces of a keep, things of this nature that have been intermingled with bright, vibrant colors of strange cloth and materials that have probably been brought up from the Underdark. As you get closer to the shop, it becomes more and more of this Karevi style, this different look of the way things are. And when you get to where the shop is, you see it still there. It is a 3-globed structure that is a deep amethyst type color. And you all enter within, and you find Zatar is sitting on the floor like he was when you all left. He has that device where he is taking long drags of smoke out of this wand that attaches to the end of this device. He blows lazy smoke rings in the air. Oh yes, hello friends. I see that you have returned. And he sees Minghil. Ah, yes, friend, I see that you are alive as well. This is most excellent. And he will come up and he will clasp him on the shoulders, and the two of them have a little bit of a reunion.
Can you imagine how nonplussed we would have been if we had shown up here and one had tried to murder the other? It would have been a very strange turn of events.
What?
Where is the other that you traveled with? The Willow girl, he says, looking around.
Oh, she was evil.
Yeah.
Evil, here in my shop.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess maybe not evil. She just kind of,
Devious.
she sucked.
Deceitful.
She is a vampire.
Oh, no. Sorry, slang from, where I'm from. Don't worry about it. We were betrayed. Which I'm sure you understand, Zatar, is, that's what happens when you're in this kind of business.
Of course.
But I guess we were wondering now if you had any information we might use to perhaps find this vault that our good friend Minghil has been searching for.
The vault, you say. And he looks at Minghil, and then he looks slowly back to the four of you. You do not mean to traverse into the vault of the ancients. I would hope not.
Pretty sure we do. Yeah. No.
Why shouldn't we?
It is a dangerous place. There is magics from the ancient world that still draw power there.
Have you been outside your shop at all recently?
Almost certainly. I've made my way around the city oftentimes. That is how I met your friend here, he says, motioning towards Sarah.
The world is a dangerous place.
That it is. That it is.
Objectively true, yeah.
The Vault of the Ancients, Zatar says, sitting upright. And he sets down the pipe wand for a moment. The Vault of the Ancients is an architecture that is from the time before the disappearance of Laun. During this time, the vault was used to house great artifacts and magics of the ancient world. There was a scroll that was oversought by a man named Melko, a mage who once resided in the city of 7 Runes. This man worked specifically with the great tyrant and betrayer Nagistar, and you all know who this Nagistar is. He is basically a figure of legend who, during that time, he was instrumental in destroying the city of 7 Runes. This guy would basically be like an equivalent of like a boogeyman type of character. He's a figure of legend at this point because he helped bring the fall of the city of 7 Runes, which eventually led to the imprisonment of Laun. But luckily, this man was killed in the process of all of this. And there's still some talk about that legend, however. But Zatar continues and says, there are, well, to put it bluntly, there is a hidden vault that is down there. It is among distant ruins that belong to the kingdom that was here before it became the Ashen Land. And there are supposedly great evils and great spirits that lurk about the dark, that seek out to destroy and corrupt the living. There's also said that anyone who travels there must pay a great price to open the doors. A price that you cannot get back.
Well, like an arm, or like $100, 200 gold, or what?
It is said that you must give up a piece of your soul.
Sounds like a bad deal.
Well,
Okay. Cool.
so would Runa be giving up a portion of her soul? Or would she, I don't know, find some more sap and send them through?
I think we would need to debate whether or not she has a soul to begin with.
Oh, she does. I could tell.
And Minghill's gonna perk up. Actually, according to the legends, it has to be the person specifically entering into the vaults, and entering through the threshold is the one who must give up the price. She could bring allies with her, but they would have to pay the same price as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to focus on finding her and stopping her before they get theirs. And then we don't have to worry about it. We can simply give you the key and you can do whatever you wish to do with it. And if you wish to part with your soul or part of it, you can certainly do that and we'll be on our way.
Feels like a good deal to me.
Well, according to the legends, the place where the vault is housed is not that far from here, to be honest. There supposedly are secret passages that lead from the distant part of the northeastern part of the city, where you will find the last remnants of the human architecture from before the Karevi came to the surface. There will be a series of buildings that you will know. They will call to you somehow. It is not entirely known how this works, but it apparently is how it works.
Okay.
Has no one tried to find this place before then, if it is so close by and easily accessible?
But I would not certainly say it is accessible easily, friend. And of course there have been others who have gone, but they are not standing here now.
Where are they standing, or?
I certainly would not know. Anyone who has traversed and tried to find the Scroll of Melko has not returned.
So I guess. Oh, you mean like dead? Oh, okay. Cool.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, no, definitely a little worrying.
Could we perhaps have a moment to discuss amongst ourselves, my companions and I?
He sits back down on the floor cross-legged and he picks up the wand.
Okay.
We'll, step outside or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ming Hill starts to follow you all out unless you stop him.
I'm not going to. I don't know if somebody else wants to, but I'm not going to.
I'll leave him for now.
Just be ready to stab him.
Yeah. I start looking at the best places to stab him, just recreationally.
Sure, yeah. Naturally it comes to you. There's a few.
Yeah.
But no, he comes outside with you, so the five of you are just outside of the shop, standing there, and the night is still dark. It always is, even though it is beginning to get to be just before even moon, which would be basically our equivalent of like dusk time. There's no change other than the moon is not nearly as bright as it was when you first arrived here.
Well, I feel like you should all make the decisions here because I'm the one who sort of got us into this pickle.
You got us into a pickle and we got ourselves out of it. This is a different pickle that is entirely not of your making.
Fair enough.
I guess I'm gonna be honest with you, gang. I feel like this is something I feel like this could be really good to do in my opinion. I mean, personally, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with kind of this, and just kind of gestures to the way the shadows are kind of pulling towards her. If this book is as powerful as they say it is, there is a part of me that kind of wants to go get it.
There are two reasons why people hide things. One is because these things are valuable and they do not want others to find them and take them for themselves. The other is because these things are too dangerous and should not be in the world.
It sounds like Runa will be going after it no matter what. So,
I am saying that we don't need to be wanting to find this thing or to enter this vault to want to stop Runa from doing this.
Yes, that's fair.
Novenair, what do you think about all this?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking about pickles.
Yes. What should we do?
I don't want a pickle.
I'll reach into my whatever haversack of this, that, the other. It's got all these spices and these different little things, and I'll pull out some dill, and I'll reach in my other pack and get like a little cucumber and spread some dill on it and hand it over.
Oh, that looks most excellent. I believe I would like to have some of that as well, if you do not mind.
All right, I start making like a bunch of little dill pickles. I'll put them in a jar
yes.
and brine.
Oh, are we having a tea party?
First food that I've had in 2 days, to be honest.
Oh, you'll want a little bit of protein with that, and pull out some dried meat, and I'll make a little bunch of sandwiches. I'll cut off the crust.
It's always appreciated that you carry around meat despite the fact that you don't eat it. Appreciate that. So I guess I
lean in. It's soy.
Oh, I honestly couldn't tell.
I could.
I know I could too. I'm just being really nice to him.
Okay.
Mihil's just
Okay.
Knockanair's just, chomping on the cucumber at the moment.
Knockanair, do you have any desire to do this? Do you think this is something we should do? Or,
Why would I have changed my mind?
I guess I don't know. The thing that is concerning me, and feel free to tell me this is ridiculous, but the thing that is concerning me is that if we go and we try to take care of this, and for some reason it doesn't go well, something bad will happen. But we don't necessarily know what will happen if we succeed beyond just keeping her from doing it. We don't necessarily know no offense, what will happen once Mihil takes it. I mean, we know Mihil probably won't do anything with it, but who knows? We're just letting it out into the world. I guess...
Sarah, every single day that I live, I don't know what's going to happen. That doesn't stop me from keeping on living. And as far as this whole scrolls and souls business goes, I don't think it matters overly much one way or another, to be honest. Anybody that takes a piece of my soul as some kind of payment for something, I assure you, is getting the worse end of the deal. And if we happen to help keep a person that has shown their colors of vileness away from something that they want, then I'm happy with it. And Emma wants to go do this, and so I'm gonna go do this too.
Okay. Can we just make a promise right now, though, that if we run into anybody who is roughly in my age range and has similar skills to me, that we just kind of don't bring them into the group, and we kind of just let me take that role?
Well, that would depend on the quality of the person.
Okay, well, this
No,
is
no,
kind of the
no.
exact
Ju-
worry that I had. So,
Do you think we're going to replace you? No. No. I will not let that happen.
I guess I'm feeling particularly new at this point. I guess I appreciate that you guys are like bringing me in. I've had a great time, and we killed a demon the other day, and that was awesome. I guess I just like, I don't know. I'm good at the stuff like talking to Zatar. I'm not really good at the like going on an epic quest type. Like, if you ask me to kill somebody, like great, I can do that. But I'm not really good at the whole go to do a big important thing.
Have you ever done something like that?
I guess no.
Then how do you know you're no good at it?
Besides, we could teach you.
Hey, if we were able to teach Knock and Air,
Anyone can learn.
besides,
And you're our friend.
if we were going to replace you, we would have replaced you when you stabbed Knock and Air in the back with your blade.
We all know that was an accident, right?
We
Right,
said
Knock
it
and Air?
was.
Ubold, she didn't stab me with it. She threw it.
And it-
That's also
There is a
technically
distinct difference.
true. Thank you, Big Hill.
I mean, yeah, he's right. There's the whole arm motion aspect of it that is entirely different.
Intent is a lot of it, too.
Don't
I guess-
worry, Sarah. We'll find a way to do this without having to replace you for anybody else.
Well, at least you're honest. Okay. So next steps, I guess we tell Zatar we're gonna take care of this, and then I turn to Bing Hill and I guess, do you have a map or any sort of like a compass? Is that what people? I don't how did.
No, we're just gonna deal with what Zatar tells us. I mean, I was gonna get the item, the key, and then I was gonna speak with him anyway, so this is just the next steps, you would see.
Okay, well, maybe we rest then after we tell Zatar and head out after we've gotten some rest.
Well, if you're on need of rest, that's fine, but I think it might be beneficial if we just go right out and get it. I mean, time is going to be a wasting as Runa tries to make her way there, but
I guess we can go. If everybody's feeling
Before
it.
we go, I'll at least need Emma to put some stitches into the wound on my back.
Oh,
It's kind of bleeding a lot.
Jeez.
Oh
Yeah,
god, yeah.
I'll heal you a bit.
oh yeah, that's really gnarly.
Oh gosh. I'm really sorry about that. It's
I'll,
fine.
I've had worse.
No, weirdly, it's better that I stabbed you, I guess, than almost anybody else. So
You get 13 points of healing.
Thanks.
Do you guys want to take a rest, a short rest, or a long rest, or?
I guess I'm wondering that.
I mean, considering how
fine.
long all of this has gone on with the conversation with Zatar and everything, can we have just called it a short rest? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're
I
not
think
really, yeah,
that would
we're not
easily
really
be
doing
fine, yeah.
much.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I guess the question is, do you want to take a long rest or not? Do you want to sleep on it, or do you want to just push on?
I mean, the only reason I take a long rest is because my 6th level spell's gone, but other than that,
You want to turn people into more mist forms again?
well,
Yeah.
fucking A.
It was pretty dope.
It was.
But yeah,
miserable.
that's the only thing. Otherwise, I don't. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
I will walk back up to the door and like, okay, confidence. Zatar, hi. We were just talking out front. I think we are going to go take care of this.
Very well. I am pleased to hear it. As I said, you will know the part of the city where you need to go. You will know it will feel. It will call out to those who seek it. I do not know why. I've never sought it myself, but I know this is how these things work. So, good luck.
Yeah, and you know, if you see anybody coming after us, maybe seems not great, stop them, please. We don't need anybody else involved in this.
I am a lover, not a fighter, but I will do as you ask.
Appreciate it, of course, Tar. And I'll give him a wink, and then turn and go, all right, gang, shall we?
Alrighty,
Yes.
so the 5 of you head out towards that section of the city, or is Ming Hill staying here?
Yeah, I guess I turn to Ming-Hill and I go, you're free to come with us if you'd like.
Oh, well, this part of the journey I must commence. This has been my life's work. I must see it through to the end. So I will follow you. If I'm not going to be... Actually, I will not be in the way. I promise you I will hold up my end of things. I will make sure that I am a true member of the group, and there will be no problems. You will not even know that I am here. Of course, unless you ask for help, then I will help you. But you will not have any sort of problems with me.
You know, Ming-Hill, I think you'd have a lot to talk about with Ubold.
Yeah, you
I can see, yes, that he
Yeah.
and I will have a lot in common. And he'll actually come over to you. Yes, perhaps we should have a conversation about how things were. And he just starts to trail off as you all make your
That's
way
just-
through the city.
Well, God, I turn over to Emily and I go, I seriously considered just throwing him up on Ubold's shoulders.
I mean, same difference.
I mean, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll head out.
We head out.
Let's do it.
We do that.
We do the thing.
We do the thing. A short walk through the city, about a half an hour, 40 minutes or so, as you get to the very northern edges of the city along the Great Chasm. There is a section here that, much like Zatar mentioned, is a section of the city where the Karevi decoration and architecture does seem to fall more away. You notice as you're moving through here that it seems to be not because they don't want to decorate it or have anything to do with it, but simply because it's been neglected. This section of the city looks like maybe people are staying away from for some reason. And as you move along, there is, Emmeline, you feel at first a strange unease that permeates through this place as you move through it. There is a certain feeling that you get, a paranoia of sorts, a feeling as if you're being watched, or that there's something just outside of view that is waiting to spring a trap on all of you. It's an uneasy feeling, and eventually it starts to come over all 4 of you. Oh, excuse me, all 5 of you.
Can I look around and just see if there's anything obvious that might be pinging my energy?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please. And while you are doing that, let's have everybody please roll a wisdom save.
That's a 22 on my perception.
Excellent, excellent.
Wisdom save.
30-20 on my wisdom save.
Perfect.
26.
26, wow.
How does a natural 1 total 4 do you?
Oh,
I
no.
love everything about that.
22.
22. And as you all move further in, as you look around, Emmeline, you see that there is a small conglomeration of buildings. They look like they were probably once barracks of some sort, but there is one of them that stands out amongst the others. It looks like it once had decoration, a strange flag or a tapestry on the front above the entrance, but it's long since fallen away and it's semi-rotted as it hangs there on the side of the building. It has some sort of symbol that you can't quite make out, something that's old and faded, and in the dark light of the dying last bits of the moonlight, you can't get the full grasp on what it is. And you notice this, and as you notice that, all five of you, you feel drawn towards that building. And as you are drawn towards that building, Sarah, there is something within you, that aspect of you that reaches out and touches the shadow as you move about and move through the darkness, move through the night, and make the killings that you do. That little bit of you is afraid. That little bit of you doesn't want to continue on.
Okay. Hey, gang. We could turn around right now.
We're almost there.
Yeah, yeah, but we could not. Also,
What's going on? What's wrong?
I feel like really weird.
Oh, it's just nerves, I bet.
How intense is this feeling?
Well, with a natural 1, it's enough that you
Oh,
don't
no.
want to go on. It's enough to actually stop you from moving.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I think I do fully stop.
What if Knockenair carried you?
But, no, I think,
Mm.
I think,
Can Sarah not walk or something?
yeah.
Are you hurt? Is there a problem with you? Is there something wrong?
No, I'm fine. I guess, I feel like there is, endless dark maw of chaos and darkness directly ahead of me, and if I take a single step further, I'll fall into eternal death.
That's just knocking air.
More than I usually feel around Knockenair.
I think that is anybody else experiencing this? I feel
I have a-
fine.
I have a headache.
Mm.
And in that moment, Ubold does a 26 hit your armor class.
No. Yes,
Cool.
of course it does.
No, I have a
Okay.
38 armor
Copy.
class.
That's right, because I got 3 breastplates piled, one on top of the other. Get through.
Nice, excellent. Ubold, you feel something very sharp and painful stab through your left shoulder blade.
Ah!
Then there is a searing pain that comes out of that spot. You're going to take 16 points of damage, piercing
Ow.
damage, and please make a Constitution saving throw.
What?
Ow! I checked to see if Sarah's standing behind me.
She is not. They are standing directly in front of you.
Oh boy.
So that's really not good. That's 9.
9. Okay. Good to know. You feel something course through you, and you starts to weaken you a bit. You can feel you've been around poisons before. You can tell that it's a poison that's slowly making its way through your body. And in this moment, there is movement out of the corner of your eye, Knockenair, that you see at one of the nearby buildings, just next to where the this building that you all had this feeling from is. You see that there is a movement from the top of that one building, as if someone is shifting and moving in the dark, and they are partially obscured by the night in a weird shadowy type of way. And in that moment, what do you all want to do?
Are we like in initiative or anything at this point?
Not quite yet, but you can do
Um,
something before the initiative kicks off, I guess would be a better way.
If I saw a movement, I will pull my blade and immediately start rushing towards that movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would cast aid
Okay.
on my friends. I can pick 3, so Ming Hill is just gonna have to live his own life.
He'll deal with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
To go his own way, huh?
Who is
So-
this guy? We don't even know him.
Your your hit points increase by 5
Huge.
for the next 8 hours or until you lose them.
Very nice.
That's max hit points and current hit points, right? From aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Huge.
I will say something's wrong. I believe perhaps I have been poisoned. I feel myself getting weaker. He'll drop to one knee and clutching his shoulder where whatever the wound is.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yes, and as you all start to notice, Nakanair, you start running towards that building, and as you start running towards that building, there was a figure that emerges out of the last little glimpses of the moonlight as it starts to get to be full-on daytime, I guess you could say. Here in this world, the night is how we focus the day. In the daytime, when the sun does not rise, it is even darker. So the moon light is starting to wane. There is a very steady, slow rain that starts to fall around you all, and there is a figure that emerges out of the shadows and out of the now approaching rain as they dive in towards all of you to make their presence known just to the right of you all. And we are going to roll initiative and bring up our battle map.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Initiative, my favorite thing to roll.
Oh, yes.
Dirty 20.
Okay, Nakanair's got a 20.
29.
29
Wow.
for Sarah. Ooh,
That is a 15 for Emmeline.
Emmeline 15. Ubold.
7.
Lucky
I think it's pretty
number
fitting
7.
right now with the injury you've
Yeah.
taken. I'll roll for the baddies here. They're going to go on. I'm going to make them just one group as opposed to splitting it all up because that's just easier. They're going to go on 14. All right, so putting you into order, Sarah, even though you are afraid and of this moment you do not wish to venture any further, you know the sound and the feeling of battle. You know the feeling of death as it quickly approaches on the swift of the night. And as this figure emerges off to the side, you're going to see that this figure here is a dwarven man who the sides of his head are shaved. He has a top knot. Something that is very noticeable about him is one half of his dark clothing is removed, so his left pectoral, there is about 1.5 inches long, a deep groove of a scar of an unhealing blood dart mark, much like the one that is on your cheekbone.
Shit.
Doesn't sound good.
Okay. I can't decide whether that means we should definitely kill him or whether I should try and talk to him. I don't think this guy is gonna. Don't think I'm cool with this guy right now. Okay. I am going to. Okay, so it's the first turn in initiative. My walking speed increases by 10 feet. So
Perfect.
I am going to move 40 feet here, which gets me, I guess, right up to this building where this guy is on the top corner here. So if I move right up here, it's about
Yes.
40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that it's not this guy, but the other guy on this other roof that has the blood dart mark, or is it this guy here?
The guy over here who jumped out at you, the
Yes,
dwarf.
that guy does.
Yeah, he has the blood mark, the blood dart
okay,
mark
so-
on his chest. And you move over here. This figure that's on top of this roof, he looks to be a half orc. You can't quite exactly make out his details, other than the fact that he has an eye patch over one eye, and there was a glowing kind of gleam to the eye patch. And you see out of the corner of your vision that there is a third figure on another roof, who is not currently on the map, and that's fine. Over here.
Okay, so then I guess I am gonna stay where I am then, and
Okay,
I am
that's
just
fine.
gonna go after this guy because I would like to make sure the light catches my blood dart mark as I do this, but if he's attacking me and I attack him back, if he's cool with me, then he'll know, and he'll deal with it. And if he's not, then I'm glad I get the first attack in. So I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna attack, but I'm specifically not aiming to kill. Like, regardless of the amount of damage I do, I don't want to kill him.
You're trying to subdue him. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well.
All right. Cool. All right. Does a 17 hit?
A 17 hits this guy exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
All right. So that is going to be. And do I have an ally within 5 feet of him?
Yeah, I would say, technically speaking, according to the map here, that since you are here, Ubold, right next to you, that just got the dart in his back, yeah, you would all be. The scale on this is a little off, but yeah, you're both within 5 feet of him and each other.
Cool. Then I am going to call that sneak attack if I can.
Sure.
So that is going to be 1d8 plus. So that's 12 plus another 13, 25 damage.
Ooh.
And then as Gloomstalker, I get another attack on my first attack. So that's going to be a 28 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is another 16 damage on top of that.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. So, as he emerges and he comes at you guys, he does a wild swing. He kicks his leg out in a practiced martial arts move, and you react instinctively despite the fear. You dodge in underneath it, and there is a glint for just a moment as your cheek scar lights up and a little bit of blood starts to trickle down your face as you invoke it. And there is your dagger that comes to hand out of nowhere. The shadows seem to give it into your hand, and you slash twice through the night, and both stab in, one into the guy's stomach, the other one flicks up through his arm, and there is a spray of crimson that crosses through your vision for a moment, and you see he staggers for a bit as you hit something underneath his armpit. A killing wound typically, but he was ready for that, and he's not exactly dropped quite yet, but
Right.
it's a nice opening salvo for sure.
And then I will bonus action I guess I will bonus action disengage here so that he can't get an attack of opportunity and move back a little bit, just to make sure I'm not right up in his face. So he at least has to move. You know what? Actually, what I'll do is I'll move between him and Ubold here,
Okay.
so that he doesn't get another hit in on Ubold.
Excellent. Very good. All right. And Nakanair, you see this all spring into action. You're all fully aware of this guy and the two on the building as well. You do notice, Nakanair, because you had noticed before, the two on the building who are now coming into view as they're readying something are not the ones that you saw moving around for a moment. That's actually this one that is over here.
Okay.
So there is 4 people you're dealing with right now.
All right. Did you want me to increase the scale of these, by the way? You said that the scale of the tokens. You said it's not matching the map. I can do that.
No, it's fine. Now that I see that he's moved in, that Sarah has moved in between, it's fine. It'll work.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to then rage. The air around Nakanair becoming noticeably colder within 10 feet of him. Frost, like the rain that falls near him almost turns to ice in proximity, and with my greatsword already drawn, I'm just going to immediately charge over to this man that Sarah had been attacking and try to run him through.
I love it.
Let's see, we'll mark off a rage, and I'm going to attack recklessly.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
That is a natural 20. For a total of 30,
Nice.
which I assume hits.
Nice.
Hell
Most
yeah.
definitely.
No, actually.
Yeah, nope. No, he steps out of the way.
So he's got 35.
That's it.
Wow.
Okay. Do I
We're
need
playing
to...
3.5.
So I've got a lot of dice here to roll. So I'm going to
Okay.
start with my weapon damage. So my weapon damage is 26. And then there is an additional... Oh, wait, that wasn't right. Plus 5. There's an additional 12 points of cold damage.
Whew.
And then 7 points from brutal critical.
Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
So that's a total of, what is that? 38, 45 on the first hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, your axe comes out and it catches
Sword.
that ice.
Greatsword.
Great sword, excuse me?
Yep.
I thought you had a great axe. Thank you for correcting me. Your great sword, yeah, it slashes through. It collects some of that ice off of the rain, and there are little bits of icy thorns that appear on the end of it as you slice through him. And as you slice through him, his left arm flies off into the night.
Damn.
Whoa.
Badass.
Is he still up?
He is barely up. He's barely up. He just grits his teeth, and he looks back and forth between you and Sarah like he's maybe rethinking his life choices here.
Don't kill him just yet.
I'm raging and reckless attacking. There is no option here, and I've got a second attack.
Fair
So,
Yep.
second attack
Alright.
is a 23 to hit.
Oh, certainly.
Okay. That is 14 points of slashing damage and 9 points of cold damage.
Okay, that is enough to end this guy. So yeah, you spin this great sword up two-handed, you bring it up and you drive it down into his chest and push all the way through to the hilt. You feel the tip of it scrape across the ground for a minute, and the guy just twitches once and goes limp, and as he falls backwards, you raise the sword and he slowly slides off of it and falls to the ground.
I don't even wait for him to slide off. I immediately am jumping over him, and with my full movement, which is going to be about to here, start running at the one that you had indicated that I had seen previously.
Absolutely.
Just like rage, entirely filled with rage, like sword dragging behind him on the ground, just viscera and blood running along the ground as he starts running at this other figure.
Absolutely.
Badass.
I love that.
Gnarly.
As the rain hits, it freezes in little bits of hail that bounce off of you because you're just so cold in this moment. Yeah, you make your way towards that guy. That guy, you don't notice. We notice because it's one of those moments for the cool audience. He cuts to him for a second. The camera view. You see his eyes go wide, like, oh, he's what's this kind of look. Emmeline, what are you up to with all of this hubbub that's going on?
Well, she is going to run over this way, and as she's running to the guy on the roof up north, she'll just say, "It's not too late to yield," and then she's gonna cast a guiding bolt.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay. A 22 to hit?
Definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, her magic is a bright source of light in this dark place, so it's almost like watching a flare sort of streak across and up to this dude, and that'll be 19 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
And the next attack against him will have advantage.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, the searing daylight, the little mote of it streaks out, hits him, and illuminates him for a moment. And yeah, he's ready for more. Do you have anything else?
Nah.
Okay, alrighty. I love that, though. Okay, now they are all going to start reacting. So, that guy who you just hit, Emmeline, he is going to reconfigure the crossbow that he was in the middle of trying to aim. He's going to raise up. He is going to point it in your direction. The one-eyed crossbowman, apparently. He is going to roll. He is going to miss you with a 13, I assume.
Yeah.
So there is a crossbow bolt that as he goes to fire, he has to do one of these because it's so bright what you hit him with. He just kind of flinches instinctively, and it shoots down, and you see it kind of jag into the ground a few feet off to your left as he misses you. There is much to your surprise, another figure who emerges from the shadows right over here, this gentleman, and he charges you, Emmeline.
Jerk.
Yes, he is a jerk. He has what looks to be a scimitar, and you see as he approaches that there is one of these blood dart daggers on his left cheek. He comes at you with a 17.
That misses.
Okay. He swings the scimitar in a wide arc, and you simply just step out of the way, kind of like Neo at the end of the Matrix. You're not even worried about it. You just step, and it whips through the air. The gentleman who was on the roof, and gentleman is probably a loose term here, the gentleman who was on the roof directly in front of you, knocking there, he sees you coming, and as I said, he had done something to Ubold, and now he's trying to reconfigure something. He stands up, and you see in his hands not a crossbow or any sort of sling or a bow or anything like that. He has what looks to be a small rod type of device, and he points it in your direction. And if you could, let's do this first. Let's see if it hits. I want to cheat here. That is a dirty 20 to hit.
You also have advantage on that, just because I'm.
Oh, well, that's even better. Let's see.
I did attack recklessly.
Okay, yeah. So the dirty 20 is the better one.
Okay, it still hits.
Okay. So you were going to take 7 points of piercing damage as a dart of some sort shoots out of this thing, slams into you. Please make a constitution.
Is that before or after my rage reduction?
That'll be after. Yep. I
Okay.
brought it down for you. And then if you could make a constitution saving throw. Much
Is
like,
it versus poison?
It is.
Okay. I have advantage on that.
Excellent.
21.
Okay. Yep, you are fine. Okay. So yeah, you feel it. Well, actually, you don't even feel it. You're in such a blood rage right now. It hits you, but you don't even slow down. And he is readying something else, trying to get at you guys. The last remaining one that you all can see is this guy who was up on this other roof. He is going to load his crossbow, and he's going to fire. Let's see. He has basically the only one he can really see right now is Emmeline and Minghill.
Come at me, bro.
So he is going to roll. He's going to fire at Minghill. He's going to shoot him with a 21.
Oh, no.
So Minghill is starting to, in the middle of the square here, there is this table type of apparatus, and Minghill goes to hide underneath it, and there was a crossbow bolt that slams into just below his neck, right above his collarbone, and he spins and rolls and slams him to the ground beneath that table. And Ubold, you are up. You are staggering. You're feeling your vision starting to darken on the edges of it. But it's your turn.
I will proceed to drop my healing spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I will drop it. Who did I see take damage there quickly, briefly, in all this? Minghill took some damage.
Minghill was just hit. Yep.
Okay. So I'll drop it here. And then I will move. So is this is like a building?
It is. Yeah, it's partially dilapidated. Dilapidated. There is a section of it off to the side that's completely broken and all caved in to the northern section of it, kind of like through this area. So you could partially see through that.
Do I take extra damage from the poison this round, or?
At the end of the round, you will.
Okay. I will move my ass in here just to try and get some cover.
Okay.
And not get shot again as I'll kind of stumbling down and try to draw my hammer, off my back and sort of get into cover and sort of try to take stock of what's going on, who's attacking us, while this thing hopefully will do some healing.
Okay. You are going to take 3 additional points of poison damage.
Okay. I unfortunately don't have a poison healing thing, so.
Oh.
Look at all my spells, and I don't.
Good to know. Already, yeah, and then you duck into there and you take partial cover behind in through the sections in there.
Yep.
So Sarah, as that dwarven guy drops from Nakanair's blow, Nakanair runs off into the night to go slay somebody else. You look around, you do see that one of the blood darts, you could tell by the way he moves, he's a blood dart. He has come up next to Emmeline, and he is swinging what looks to be some sort of scimitar. For those at home, it kind of looks like a katana, basically. It's not, I'm just using scimitar, that's the closest thing. But it's swinging it towards and around his face, or her face, excuse me.
Okay, cool. Hate that. I'm sure you'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. I am going to come in on that guy, not because I think that you can't handle it, but because I want this guy alive. So I'm going to go in, but instead of attacking, so I'm going to activate my winged boots. So I have a flying speed equal to my walking speed. So I fly up into the air and then over, so I'm right above this guy. And then I am going to...
Which guy? I'm sorry, where you going?
This guy that's Emmeline is involved with
okay.
this other blood dart that just ran out here. Yeah. So I'm
Excellent.
I'm kind of above that guy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then I am going to reflavor this item as just like pulling darkness and weaving it into something I'm not even sure, and equivalently reach into my bag of tricks as an action and pull out an animal here. Because I can, and we're gonna hope this thing is gonna give me some extra help here. Let's hope it goes well. That's an 8, which is a tiger. I summon a tiger made of shadows. Very normal, very average thing to do.
Oh yeah, we see these things all the time.
I weave a tiger out of shadow and I drop it on this dude.
Excellent. Yes, as you do, it's like you pull the tiger made out of shadow out of the bag. Just
right.
And as it starts to roar as it pounces down on top of him. Does it get to attack this round?
I would assume it does.
Cool.
It's friendly to me and my allies, and it acts on my turn, which is currently.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm using my bonus action to give it the command to attack but not kill.
Excellent. Let's see. So how does that attack? Do you have a tiger stat?
Yeah, I have a tiger stat block.
Perfect.
Up here. Just, and it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll have it roll a quick attack here.
Sure.
And would you say, would it get, you think it, no, I'll wait. It has an extra ability, but I don't think it would attack. It would work this turn.
Yeah, I think it would have time to, as you pull it out, it just pounces down on him. It has time for the attack, and it has to
that's pretty
acclimate
much
itself for a minute.
All right, cool. So that is going to be a 19 to hit.
Yep, definitely.
All right, and then it does 1d10 plus 3.
Ooh.
So it does another 8 damage.
Okay.
And lands on top of this dude.
I love that. Alrighty. Now, with it being made out of shadow, spectral energy, it's partially physical. So, does he have to make any sort of check to make him prone? Or?
It doesn't technically say that, like, there's not like an ability, but I am dropping it on him. Do we think he's gonna make some type of save
I'm gonna have
against
him make a
it?
dex save to see if he gets knocked prone with this thing on top of him. Let's see. The total for that for him is going to be an 11. What would be your DC for like a spell or something? It would be 8 plus your proficiency modifier.
But yeah, my spell DC is 15.
15. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna drive him down to the ground. He gets Emmeline. You see a spectral tiger made out of shadows jumps down out of a bag, slams on top of this guy, and bears him down to the ground. His head wriggles off the ground for a second, and the fight's turning here.
I yell, "Stay quiet and stay still if you want to live."
Excellent. Excellent. Knocking there. You are running towards this guy up on top of the roof. Great sword dragging behind you. It's cutting a groove through the ground as you run. What do you do?
So I can't actually get all the way up there, but I can. Does it take my action to start climbing up onto the roof?
I would say if you do a double move, you could get up to the roof, but you wouldn't be able to do anything else. But I would say you could get there and then use your movement to climb the rest of the way up. You're a pretty spry, fast, quick guy.
Okay, well,
Pretty spread.
since I can't actually get all the way up and do anything, I will move to about here, as if I'm like going for the angle. And as I'm running, I'm going to unleash my glacial wind. Which is a roar as if a horrendous glacial storm is erupting from me, and both of these two within enemies within sight of me have to make wisdom saving throws.
Okay. I love that.
DC is 17.
17. Oh, yeah, because you are a North Wolf, a subclass that is specific to this campaign setting. You get to channel the... Oh, boy. Oh, boy, those are really bad rolls. So the one's going to have a 9, and the other one's going to have an 11.
Okay, they are both frightened for the next minute.
Excellent.
How does it feel?
Yeah, I'm going to make a note here. Okay. Yes, they are definitely rethinking their life choices here. I love it. I love it. Okay. Emmeline. You see that, the fight is still going, but you don't see anybody else jumping out of the shadows to surprise you all. So what do you want to do?
Well, she'll see this semi-spectral tiger and just say, "Oh, that's new." And she's going to move away. I can take the opportunity attack and sort of come to this spot here. And she will send up another attack at the guy up north.
Don't forget to roll it with advantage.
I was going to say, you still have advantage because there has not been an attack against him yet. So first off, I'm going to have the guy on the ground. He's going to try to make an attack of opportunity on you with disadvantage, of course, because he's got a tiger on top of him, and he's a little bit disheveled here. No, he's going to miss.
Excellent. Okay, so that's a 22.
Definitely hits the guy on the roof, yeah.
I'm casting it at 4th level because it's fun.
Okay.
So that's 27 points of radiant damage.
Yeah.
Folks.
Get him.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
Yep.
This
Once
is
again illuminated with the light.
Mm-hmm. And as it hits him, his body ripples and shakes and burns as the holy light just burns through him. The darkness around him that shrouds the blood darts in the shadow starts to burn away, knocks him back. You see him disappear from sight on top of the roof. You're not sure if he's dead or what, but he's no longer a threat, it would seem.
I told you we could yield.
You're doing this to yourself. Awesome. Okay, so the guy who's on the ground, he is going to try to just get this tiger off of him. He's going to try to do an athletics test as opposed to the tiger's athletics test, if we could, please.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Okay, because he's pinned, I believe he's going to have that with disadvantage. Ooh. Okay. It's going to be a 12.
Yeah, 18 for the tiger.
Okay. He can't get up underneath the Spectral Panther. The physical parts of it are just weighing him down, pinning him down, snapping at his face. You see him. He's trying to move his face out of the way as it's snapping at him and trying to bite into his throat.
You suck. Literally stop fighting.
And the guys who are frightened, they, I believe, can't really do anything, correct? Because they are frightened. 1 second here.
Pretty sure they can't do anything because they suck.
Well, they have disadvantage on attacks and ability checks, and they can't move closer to me.
Right.
That's the only effect of frightened.
Okay, I'm bringing up my conditions real quick. My little cards are not out in front of me. The one thing I forgot tonight. That's okay. So yes, they are frightened. Yeah, you are correct. So they are going to just stand there and wonder about what to do. But the one who is over here is going to try to just go ahead and fire at you with his crossbow. He wants to try to end whatever it is you're doing, but he has disadvantage, as you just mentioned. Oh, either a 19 or a 3, so 3 plus his attack roll. With a 13 to hit, which is not going to hit.
Nope.
He fires the crossbow, knock in there. You just move, and it just glances off of an icy sheen that has formed on your skin. It just glances off and twirls through the night. Bits of the rain that fall down as they solidify, they semi-freeze it in the air, and parts of it trickle and shatter off as it slams into the ground. The other guy, the guy who was over here, he is going to try to do the same thing. He, however, doesn't have a crossbow. He has that weird dart thing, but he is going to do something else. He starts gesturing with his hand, and man, this disadvantage is not helpful for them. He's going to try to hit you with a 14, which will not work either. Yeah, as he gestures, puts his hand out, and there is a little ray of a sickly green energy that sizzles through the night. It doesn't light up anything. It just comes at you, and again, it just deflects off of the icy sheen forming around you as his acid dart doesn't really do anything.
And they get to make saves again at the end of their turn to get rid of the frightened condition.
Perfect. Those are wisdom saves?
Wisdom saves, yeah.
Okay.
DC 17.
Okay, the one is going to get a 17, the other one is going to get an 11. So
which one succeeded?
The guy who has succeeded is this guy over here.
All right.
Yep. So the guy you are closer to is still frightened, and he's trying to get ready to try to maybe cast a spell or something again, and he's starting to fumble. You can see his hands are shaking. He is not liking this too much. The guy who was on top of the roof next to you, Emmeline, doesn't do anything. You either killed him or he's semi out of the fight.
Nice.
The guy, yep, that's it. All right, so, Ubold.
I'm going to... Can I step out this way?
Yeah, it's open back there.
All right, what I would like to do, I'm going to tell you what I would like to do, and then you'll tell me what happens. I want to yell out a powerful scream of rage, grab my two-handed maul, and run over here and start busting some support beams to try and bring the roof action down.
Okay. I'll say for the sake of argument, because it's not really going to be hard to, hit a building. Go ahead when you go over there, make attack rolls, but do them at advantage, because the building's not going anywhere.
It dodges out of the way of your attacks.
That's right. So I got a 19 plus my to hit will be, 20 some odd, 27.
Basically just see if you don't roll lower than a 10, so you're
no,
fine.
it's good. 27.
Yeah, go and roll your damage. Let's say these posts have hit points equal to 15. There's 2 of them you can hit.
12 points.
Okay. You start smashing into the one, and your maul just starts smashing off. There's splinters that are breaking off, and you can see the building is starting to
Awesome.
Sway.
I'm yelling all the way.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, please. Make another Constitution saving throw.
Damn you. Why would you ask that of me?
I was kind of hoping we all could forget about that.
That's 17.
Okay, this time it does pass. So you start to fight off the poison, so you don't take any more poisoned condition,
Nice.
but you have poison damage for this round is 2. But now that you've made your save, you won't have to take that anymore.
Yeah. Either of you wounded, Sarah, Emmeline?
I'm good.
Awesome, feeling good.
Nakanor, probably not.
Not that it matters, no.
Okay, I'll leave my spirit next to.
Miguel?
Did Ming heal from it last turn, by the way?
Yeah, he's healing.
Okay.
He's laying under the table, kind of feeling bad about himself. So.
All right. The heals for 2d6, by the way, I cast it at a slightly higher level.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If he ever appears to be okay, I'll bonus action move the thing over to me because
Yeah, he seems to be okay now that it's been a second round of that. So.
All right, so I'll bonus action move it over here. And that's me.
Excellent. All right, top of the round, Sarah.
Yeah. My tiger seems to have things pretty taken care of over here. So I'm going to fly up to this. So this dude on the roof is just gone. That the one that Emmeline shot at. That guy's gone.
Because you're higher, you can see that he's on his back. Just his arms are all splayed out. His eyes are lifeless, looking up into the night. Yeah, he's dead.
I don't need that guy. I'm going over to this guy on the farther roof from me. This guy. Move my token closer here. Go right over here. Fly up towards the roof, and I'm going in for a stab, if you can believe it. I'm gonna stab this guy.
Okay.
Nice.
Close the distance with your speed. Your winged boots flying you through the night. There's rain that's pelting down off of you as you swipe over there.
It's so speedy, so quick. Gonna run right in there. That is going to be, of course, a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Cool.
You guys are rolling great. Love it.
And so that is a quick 16 damage. And then as a bonus action, I am going to cast Hunter's Mark on him. Not to do more damage, but in case he runs away.
I see. Okay. Yeah, there is a shimmering shadow that starts to dance around him as you pull it out of the night and mark him with your Hunter's Mark. Very cool.
Does he also have a blood dart mark that I can see?
He does. Now that you're up close, yeah, you can see he does too.
His
is like on his forehead.
This is why I got out. All right. I think that is my turn.
Excellent. All right, Notte.
So
Rage still flows through you.
Yes, I'm definitely still raging, and I have a question for you. Well,
of course.
First of all, is the building that this person is standing on also kind of decrepit like the others, or is it a solid building?
This one is more solid than the others. It would take probably a longer time to break it down the way that Ubold is breaking down the other building, but you could do that. It would just take a lot longer. This building is the most intact out of all the buildings in the area. This is the one that has that tapestry in the front that almost looks like maybe it was a temple or a church or something at one point.
Okay, then Notte wouldn't do what I was contemplating doing. I have a cool ability that I was going to use, but like if this is a temple, that's not even an option for him. He's just going to leap up onto the top of the building. Do you mean do an athletics check for the climbing aspect of it? Yeah.
Yep, just make an athletics test real quick.
Does a 24 succeed?
Yeah, I think that'll work okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You jump up, and with your feet jumping, you have your sword still behind you. You're just jumping, grabbing with your feet and with your one arm. You pull yourself up onto the roof and pull up, and then your sword follows.
I think what I actually do is just like take the sword and like jab it into the side of the building and use it as like a pole vault sort of deal.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
To leap up, landing like almost like a feral creature, landing on all fours, and then just with the sword kind of reverse grip sort of deal, slash it across the guy.
I love that. Yeah, go ahead and roll an attack roll for me.
And I'm obviously still attacking recklessly, because why would I not?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Yeah.
26 to hit for the first attack.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be 11 points of slashing damage and 11 points of cold damage.
Whew.
And then the second attack is a 25 to hit. That's going to be 12 points of slashing damage and 11 points of cold damage.
Nice. So as you vault yourself up onto the roof, and as you land in a 3-point stance, snarling like a wolf, you rip the sword out, bring it up in that underhand strike, and do a figure 8 through this guy, and then you see his body just in quarters go onto the roof. And he's gone.
I will let out a howl of rage in dropping him and turn and look back at the one that Sarah had just attacked.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, he and the guy on the ground over here. I'll put the tiger a little closer. Seem to be the only ones left. So good to know. Alrighty. Emmeline.
So she's gonna look over to where the majority of her group is and just see, like, they've got this. So she is going to come over to this guy near the tiger, and
Just saunter up to him and, hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, so I don't want to ruin the tiger's fun. Clearly it's having a good time. So I would love to hold an attack with my mace to when I see the bad guy try to attack either me or the tiger.
Okay.
I'll just wait. Like, take your time, play with him. But if he's going to come after you, then I'm gonna try to stop that.
Okay.
Can I yell to the tiger? Do whatever, Emmeline. I don't know whether you're sentient yet. This is still confusing to me. This is a new ability. I don't really know how it works yet.
Emmeline doesn't know either, so just, have a good time.
Alrighty. So you can hold your action. Yeah, so that baddie on the ground, he is going to try to get the tiger up off of him. He's going to make an opposed athletics test. At disadvantage because he's prone.
Does that count as triggering Emma's?
I think it would. Just have the tiger make the athletics test. I'm sure you're going to beat his 9 he just rolled, but
Sick.
I don't think it's gonna go well for him.
Does an 18 hit that guy?
It will.
Okay.
15 for the tiger. He's staying down.
Yeah, he tries to shove the tiger off of him. He's starting to panic a little bit now, and as he tries to force the tiger back, he happens to see you moving in from the side, and you bring your mace down and just hit the guy. Go and roll your damage.
Did you roll with advantage, Beth? Because he's
So,
prone.
I just
that is
did,
true.
knowing now that he's prone, and I got a natural 20 for a
Oh,
27.
yeah, baby!
Fucking knock him out.
So,
He's gonna brain this guy. I love it.
let's see. It's not very impressive. That is 9 points of damage.
That's okay. This tiger has been working on him. Yeah, you bring the mace down and you just brain him. He doesn't
Nice.
splatter or anything. You're nicer than your... Oh, maybe he does. You sound
Yeah.
like that was kind of fun for you.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, you bring the mace down and you end the guy. He stops struggling, and the spectral tiger looks up at you. A mixture of, hey, you stole my kill, and hey, that was really cool, kind of expression on its void-like features.
Good work, buddy.
Again, it is just like shifting shadow. Is it alive? Is it even here? I don't know.
But it is friend-shaped.
Oh,
so
no, yeah,
I
he's
will
here.
befriend it.
Oh, he's a cuddly little guy for sure.
Alrighty, so that guy is gone as well. The remaining Blood Dart assassin who was on the top of the roof right in front of you, Sarah, he's going to attack you as he says, "It was purely business. The Willow sent us to deal with you." 19 to hit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He hits you with his dagger. It is going to be...
Are you sure he does?
He does, yeah. It's 5 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Please make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, for sure. It's a 4?
A 4.
Yeah, 4. Is that's fine, right?
That's
That
a
should
great
be
roll, and I
fine.
think that's really going to help you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. The damage for that is, let me double check. Get my right dice. Right here, these ones. Sorry, everybody. It's always something. You are going to take 7 points of damage. It's poison damage. You're not poisoned, but it is poison damage.
That's good at least.
As his dagger stabs into you.
Ow!
You, like your companion Ubol, take on the poisoned condition for a little bit. We'll deal with that shortly. That's him, though. Ubold, speaking of, are you still attacking the post and everything?
Yeah, I'll take the healing from my thing.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll. That's 2d6, you said?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. And I will then attack again.
Yeah.
The post. So there's 2 posts, you said?
There is the one that's got basically 3 hit points left, and the other one looks like it's a little bit weaker than the other one, so...
Okay. Can I just throw it on the hammer and, Samson style, like,
Oh.
grab both and just...
Okay, yeah. Let's, make a strength or athletics test.
All right.
We'll just set this as a DC. We'll see if you roll. Well, you're going to roll. We'll see what you roll, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that?
Give me just
Sure.
a second. I am going to, as I do that, activate one of my special items, which is an Eldritch Claw tattoo. So this tattoo that is etched into my skin starts to glow the color of moonlight along my arms, and as I reach out and grab both posts and push them, these tendrils of light wrap around the 2 posts and start crushing them as I post. And what this does is that it gives me extra +1 bonus to attack and damage roll with unarmed strikes.
Nice.
And an extra force damage
extra
them,
d6
right?
force damage on the hit.
Yeah. It's a particular favorite of mine. It's a good one.
All right, so that will be 18 to hit.
Or you're just making an athletics test.
Oh, sorry.
Or are you punching him? Did I misunderstand?
No, that's fine. That's fine. The thing was just, the tattoo was just for flavor then.
Okay.
So the athletics test then is 16.
Yeah. Okay. So you start pushing. And you just ripple out. Your corded muscles are starting to bulge. Your veins are snapping, and you push. And up on the roof, let's have Sarah. Are you still flying? Or did you land?
Yeah.
Okay. The guy beneath you has to make a dexterity save. With a natural 1, he doesn't pass.
Nice.
As the roof is falling, can I just like give it a little quick wave and like
absolute. And yes, Ubold, you push and the building topples and creaks, and you step back just as it starts to crumble, and the building just collapses in on itself as the last bits of your tattoo are rippling and lighting up across your arms. The building, as it caves in, that guy reaches out for you, Sarah, just trying to instinctively try to stop himself from falling before he is swallowed up by the building as it falls. There is a loud boom that roars through this section of the city, which is relatively empty, as the building smashes down and around this guy. He's going to take damage from falling, which is 2d6, or I'm sorry, 1d6, which is 5. Plus, going to take damage from the building, which is going to be that. It's 11. Okay. And this guy is crumpled, and he has a bloody, nasty, mashed up form, and he starts to try to crawl out of the rubble as initiative comes to an end. He is going to start crawling forward, and he looks up at all of you, and Sarah, as you kind of fly down, his eyes meet yours, and he goes, "It's only business." And there's blood that trickles out the side of his face, and the light of his blood dart, it's a wound that doesn't heal. It always looks like it's fresh and bleeding. It finally seals up, and there's a reddish light that disappears from it as his eyes glaze over, and he is gone as well.
No fucking way. No. Can we? Is he dead?
He's dead. They're all dead.
We're not even talking like if we get some healing on him, we can't bring him back.
Does somebody have like Revivify or something like that?
I actually do.
Oh.
I can cast Revivify on him if we want. I kind of want to figure out who sent these dudes, but are we just assuming it's Runa?
Didn't he just say
they
it?
said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said the Willoy sent him.
The Willoy.
Or the-
But okay,
the Willoy. But you can do that if you want.
I kind of want to know more, but I think there's just a part of Sarah that needs to know more about, because they're blood darts. That makes Sarah particularly pissed that they just came after her.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I
Well,
don't.
Does Sarah have any particular insight because they are blood darts? Like,
Well, that's what I'm wondering is like, if I knew more about how they got hired, and what in particular they were supposed to do. But can I try and do like an insight check based on what just happened? Like, did they seem like they were just sent to kill us? Did they seem like they were sent to get Ming Hill?
Sure,
they were
you can make
after
an
any of us
insight check.
particular?
Yeah, you can make an insight check with advantage because you are blood dart. You kind of know how that whole situation works.
For sure. That is a 22.
Okay. Yeah, you know, much like the way that you were brought up through the Blood Dart organization, you know that they are killers that typically work to try to balance out problems. They're not entirely inherently good or evil. They're kind of brought in to solve problems that might need to be clandestinely solved. So there's not like a definitive, like, oh, they're always bad guys, I guess you could say. I mean, you yourself are one who walks a truer path than, say, these guys here. But you do know that the Blood Darts specifically, they are figures that when they're tasked to kill somebody, it's supposed to be quick and decisive, and they don't really have any sort of personal stake in it. They really are just hired to do a job, I guess you could say. You could tell, yeah, from the way he said it, the Willoy sent, and the fact that everything's going on the way it did, the way they were striking, the way that they tried to pretty much take out all of you, yeah, you probably, that Runa sent them to eliminate all of you guys on just a basic level to have you guys out of the way.
Friends of yours?
Hardly. I guess I'm going to kneel down, and I'm gonna go around to all of the bodies and take their blades, and I am going to I think I'm going to go. Is there a good place where I could start a fire?
Yeah, you can, if you want, in one of these semi-dilapidated buildings, you can start out a fire and try to figure out what your next steps might be.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start a fire just off to the side here.
Okay.
Grab some type of bucket or pot or something and put the blades in it and start melting them down. And I turn to everybody. We all have our blades that are important to us. No one's supposed to use a dart's blade after death. So they may have tried to kill us, but they blood darts were the closest thing to a family I had for a really long time. So it should only take a bit.
Okay. And as the night continues to get darker, as the moon's light starts to wane, as the hours of the night turn into the hours of the day, you watch Sarah burn and melt the daggers down in the bucket, and in this moment, this quiet contemplation that they have in regards to their past and their future coming together in a conflict. We're going to take a late break. We're going to take 5 minutes to have everybody just kind of step back for a minute, take a quick little bio break. Folks at home, please do the same, but come back because we are going to get back on the trail and get everybody towards the Vault of the Ancients. So please come back. 5 minutes. We'll see you all again. Thank you so very much.
It is an ancient world. Forged in darkness and blood. The gods have forgotten us. The immortals fall from the heavens, and terrors roam the land. Thousands of years I have waited, deep in the bowels of the earth. The seal will soon be broken. Lose your hopes, mortals. Your doom is near.
Hello once again. We return back into the world of Nier with Notte Eterna. To recap briefly, our party is on the trail of Runa, a Willoy beguiler who has seemingly betrayed them and is made off with a key to the Vault of the Ancients that she will do some sort of nefarious purpose with. Luckily, they have their trusty Archivist with them. Ming Hill is going to help them seek it out and stop her before it's too late as they seek the Scroll of Melko. They just fought and killed some Blood Dart assassins who Sarah is very familiar with how this organization works because they have been a member. So we pick up, it's been some time later, you've all rested a little bit, Ming Hill is back to consciousness, and we pick back up. You all are together, huddled around inside one of the dilapidated buildings in the area, and you've all taken a short rest if you need to get yourselves back into sorts. And you're taking a look at you, Ubold. You're no longer poisoned. You were able to see to that to make sure you had a poultice in your bag that you went ahead and did stuff with. Melkanair, you've calmed down from the rage. It's subsided. And you're all wondering what to do next. Ming Hill luckily was able to be saved. Healed back up by Emmeline. So he's ready to continue. There is still that feeling that the four of you, I always forget to say five, that the five of you feel towards that building, the one that's still semi in order, the one that Nakanair had just killed the one guy on with his greatsword. You are all drawn to that building. There's still that same fearful creep that's coming in on you, though, Sarah, and you're all five starting to wonder, what the next step might be. But that building is calling to you all, beckoning to you like a long-lost friend. What do we do?
Guess that's where we're headed.
So
Beth,
you mentioned that we would feel a drawn to this place. I don't know what is causing it, but I certainly feel it, and if the rest of you feel it also, then I would assume that it is our destination.
I'd say we should check it out, but also just check me on my judgment, please, because I'm not trusting myself lately.
No. I mean, I trust you. I just don't trust the people you. To say I don't trust the people you have. You made a poor judgment call at one point, but that doesn't make me not trust you. However, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. I feel like a beast stalks me from the ever-encroaching darkness, and that my heart will soon be ripped from my chest if I continue. Does anybody else feel that, or is that just me, or...
That's just not an area you're feeling.
Again, I feel like I feel that a little bit always when Knockanairs around, but it's more than that.
If I had wanted to rip your heart out, you would know, because I would tell you, and then I would do it.
You're pretty much hitting the nail right on the head in terms of why I normally feel that way a little bit. But
what if you didn't go in? What if we investigate and you can stay outside?
No, one's fear should always be met head on and confronted. That is the only way to defeat it.
Agreed.
You are not alone. You have friends with you in Ming Hill.
Right, and Ming Hill.
Yes, I think that it's a good idea for us to press on. I mean, we're clearly on the right path if we were attacked and nearly killed. I mean, isn't that how it goes being an adventurer?
That is the gist of it, yes.
I wouldn't know.
I have a suggestion. Knockanare, would you do what you do best and go inside the house?
The one that Sarah is afraid of?
Yes.
I'll be right back. And I immediately stand up and start heading into that building.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Now, you wouldn't want to leave Knock in there alone to face whatever it is in there, right? Let us join him and assist him in being devastating.
You know, okay, Knock here, hold on. I'm just
Too
gonna
late.
follow.
Knocking as you enter into the building, you push open old, semi-warped wood doors that you push open, 2 of them, big double doors. And as you step in, you do find a building that clearly was a temple or a chamber of some sort in the past. You can't tell to what deity it was propositioned because it's been defaced on the back wall. The symbol is all scratched and marred as if somebody's on purpose destroyed it. But you do see that there is an altar below that, and it has been slid away. There is a deep gouge on the floor as the altar, seemingly on a hinge, has been moved, and there is a sort of opening that is behind it that leads down into a blackened space beneath.
So Nakanair is not superstitious or religious in perhaps the ways that certainly that Emmeline is, and probably most other people are, but he is recognizing of the power of belief in such a place, and so he will, for probably not very long, just a very short amount of time, he will actually begin doing a kind of chant, almost a very tribal-esque sort of thing that you can't really understand any words that he's saying, but for him it's kind of like a cleansing sort of deal, ritual-ish thing, but that doesn't stop him from immediately going over whilst he's saying the chant to this this moved altar and looking down within.
Absolutely. And as you look down in, you can see that there is a ramp of sorts. It looks like the earth, it's naturally hewn. It's not like there's stairs. It's just a section of the roof that ramps down into dark below. It would seem to be, it's a secret chamber to some, or a secret tunnel to some sort of underground area.
I will turn and look back at my companions as they are probably just now entering into the room. As you know, they heard my chant from outside. As my chant finishes, and I just smile and step backwards into the ramp.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess we're doing that. Okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's cool.
I assume I just slide, like disappear from sight and slide down.
Definitely, yeah. You, after just a few steps, it is a little bit slippery. Maybe it's mold or some sort of earthen type of fluids or growth of some sort. You're not sure, but yeah, you are able to slide down and beneath, and you vanish from sight.
Emmeline's going to follow right behind, and just right before just tossing herself into the hole, she'll look back at Sarah and just say, "Come on," and then get in there.
Oh, god damn it. Oh,
Right
it's just like a straight drop.
Right before you enter within, if you could, Emmeline, because you are a cleric, please make a religion check for me as you look up at that defaced symbol on the wall.
I'm super good at religion. That's a 12.
Okay. Even though it's defaced and it's partially destroyed, you recognize this holy symbol of Garrod, who is a god of deception and evil. So this is a good omen, you think, before you step and slide down into the dark behind Knockin'
You know what? I like to take risks. I haven't made a bad decision in what, 24 hours? So
It's been at
Not
least
that long.
1
Yeah.
hour, so yeah, you're good.
yeah, okay. Well, time for another.
At least 1 hour.
Yep, and you slide down in. Sarah, you would be next as Ubold, he stands behind you, crossing his arms, looking down at you as if, hey, no, you're not getting out of this.
Ubal, you and me, right? We just turn around, head right out of here, huh?
I will. Will pull out his sickle, and as he does, it will start to emit a bit of moonlight sort of around it. And he'll look at Sarah and say, "Stay in the light. It will keep you safe. Come now."
Ming Hill cuts in front of you both, and he jumps and wheel disappears down the ramp.
I keep forgetting he's here.
I know, right?
He's kind of like a mascot that way.
He's silent. He goes
So
from
little.
silent. Can I be honest? I guess I just, as I start walking up, I just go, what's weird is I'm not normally freaked out by stuff like this. It's really getting to me right now.
Well, this place is evidently a place of some magical countenance of other, and it's probably that is playing on your nerves. We all felt it. It's just happened to have found a little chink in your armor, but think not on it any longer. Confront it, face it, move into it with confidence. You have skills and you have friends with you. You'll be all right.
Yeah, okay. And with a quick gulp, I will head down.
And Ubald will sheath his sickle and turn around and leave.
Wow, and just like that.
Later, fools. No.
And
Suckers.
Ubald is out.
I'll continue down with my sickle held high to give us a little bit of light.
Okay. And after a time of you all sliding and slipping down in, you come down into a landing below. You are completely surrounded. There is stone above and to the sides of you, and this little landing that you all come down into at the end of this chute. And you see in the ground ahead of you, let's see, Nakaner, you went first. Nakaner, you see in the ground ahead of you that there is an indentation here as if somebody has recently landed down here. There is a part where the floor, the dirt and the sand of the floor is disturbed at the end of the chute here.
Okay. I don't think that Nakaner actually notices that, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, he's got a decent passive perception, but his investigation is, like, way negative, right? So
Okay.
I feel like in this instance, even if he did see it, he wouldn't necessarily know what it means at first,
Okay.
until maybe, Emmeline arrives and points it out, and then he would understand. So I think in this instance, he's just, as soon as he touches down, back on his feet, listening from above, maybe that distracts him, hearing, the noise of perhaps Emmeline's armor coming down, and he then, immediately starts looking about the space for any potential dangers to his companions.
Definitely. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any sort of immediate. There's not any sort of immediate danger. You all seem like you are alone down here. But yeah, the ground is disturbed. All of you will notice as you come down into the little area that you all land in. But there is a passageway that continues on directly ahead of you all that continues off into the dark. Now down here, even though some of you have dark vision, the dark down here is unnaturally dark. There is something here that's making it hard for all of you to see as you traverse deeper down into the underdark world.
Can I cast daylight? Do I think that would make a difference?
You can cast daylight, absolutely.
Will it affect this darkness?
You cast it, and you see it cut out. It's a little muted, like it doesn't reach as far as it normally would. There's a little bit of a haze around the edges of it, but you're able to continue on.
All right, I'll cast daylight on my sickle then, and to keep it aloft.
Perfect.
There's something ironic about a moon sickle with daylight cast upon it.
In this world, actually, tracks pretty well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light has no provenance. It simply is.
And Ming Hill says, actually, I have an idea, just in case there should be any sort of party being split type of scenario. If I may, and he will step up to each of you. He'll motion for you all to gather around him. come close now. And he will pull out a small little book and flips to a page of it, and he holds it up and he starts gesturing in the air, and he says something. I'm not sure if anybody speaks Gnomish, but he starts speaking in the Gnomish tongue and says something that sounds like chittering and a little swirly kind of rolls of the tongue, and eventually he finishes and he flicks his hands, and all of your weapons slightly glow. They have a weird greenish white luminescence that comes to him, except for yours. He's not going to bother with yours, Ubo, because you got the daylight thing going on. But all of you, think of this basically in our world terms. Your weapons are glowing like glow sticks now. There's a weird, cool green glow to them all. He says, I believe these moonlit weapons will aid you in the dark should the daylight not hold.
These are so interesting. Hey, did you all know that this is the temple for the god of deceit and deception? Just
Jared?
Something interesting. Yeah,
I'm
Jared.
pretty sure his name is Jared. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Jared sounds like a buffoon. And I just turn and start walking in the direction of the passageway.
I love it. There's a man of action.
This entire quest so far has been beset on all sides by lies and obfuscations and misdirections, and so this does not surprise me.
Okay.
So Nakaneri, you're in the front. Marching order, you're first. Okay. You walk down this passageway for a moment, just a few minutes really, and as you walk, there is a musty smell that is assaulting your senses down here. You can definitely tell that you are underground. As you continue to walk, you see that up ahead, the passageway has small alcoves to either side that are equally distant down the rest of the hallway. There is 5 on each side, and they veer off into dark. This is a junction of some sort. There's different passageways you can go from here. Maybe the beginnings of a labyrinth. You're not entirely sure.
I will wait for my companions to catch up.
Okay.
I think, has the fear that Sarah is feeling starting to subside, or is it getting worse?
Yeah,
or...
the initial fear that you had of, oh no, I cannot go down there, I must run away, that has subsided. It's been replaced with just an overall sense of dread. Just you feel uneasy. You feel like something bad is going to happen, but you're not afraid. You're able to press through with this.
All right, cool. So I guess I don't swing my rapier around it and makes lightsaber noises, and I guess I instead walk up. And I will buy the light of my weapon. Can I search for traps or anything here at this?
Yeah, you can. Make an investigation check for me, please.
Yeah.
Were there any tracks anywhere along the way?
As you get into this little area, this walkway ahead is stone floor. It looks like it is actually hewn. It's not like naturally forming. Somebody cut this passageway out of here. There's no sand or anything on the floor to make a passage of any footprints apparent.
Total 17.
Okay. And as you start looking around, you see that in the alcove that you are immediately nearby, I'll say within direct sight, there is 2 on each side. You see that the one immediately to all of your left and the one to your right, which is one in. So you're not the one directly to your right, but the next one up. You notice there is something in each one of these alcoves. The light of the weapon is not enough to make out the details, only that there is something within both of these alcoves that is at a slant.
A slant.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any, rocks on the ground?
There might be small pebbles, things maybe, very small types of things. Not big rocks at all, no.
I think I have something that might work. I pull out my charlatan's die.
Okay.
And I'm gonna watch those, and I'm gonna do anybody have light cantrip or anything that we might be
Yeah. So I was gonna, if I could find a rock or something, just light it up and then toss it so that we can see.
Dope. All right,
Yeah.
so if you can light this up, I will throw it and see what happens there.
Yeah, okay.
Good
You
plan.
pull out the die and you give it to Emily. You cast light upon it. It's got a nice faint daylight glow, and then you hand it back. And yeah, when you toss it down the hall, do you throw it? You roll it? How exactly?
I think so technically, with a charlatan's die,
Mhm.
I can technically, when I roll it, I can control how it rolls. So I'd like to think that I roll it, or I roll it in such a way that it bounces off of a wall and rolls back to me once it's rolled. So
Okay.
I'm basically just rolling it down the hallway past this to see what's in those alcoves.
Gotcha. Let's have you make a dexterity check.
Sure. Can I call that sleight of hand?
Sure.
Heck yeah. That is going to be a 32.
Ooh, okay.
Fail.
And yeah, you flick it, and as it goes down the hall, and it rolls, and it kind of bounces off a couple of the different little sections between the alcoves, and it bounces off of something and rolls backward. As it rolls backwards, as it passes by those alcoves that you notice had the slanting things, there are these large giant bladed things that slide out of the wall and scoop up and through the area where somebody would walk through and disappear into the alcove across the hall from it. It's definitely
Cool.
trapped.
Dope. Okay. As the dice rolls back into my hand, I just kind of quietly stand up and go, so there's that.
Not,
Yeah,
not
and I
that
think
one.
everybody saw this. So I'm sorry, Emily, what were you saying?
No, I was just not that one.
No, maybe we don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
And now, Ubold, you've been stoically taking all of this in. You've been eventually probably the longest out of the group here. So, is there any sort of thoughts that you might have on the scenario here? What might be going on? Any sort of plan that you might formulate with your pensive mind?
Well, I was wondering about possibly using, but I just don't know if it would actually be able to give me any sort of interesting information. But I do have commune with nature. Now, in caves and under natural underground settings, it works to 300 feet, but it doesn't work in dungeons and towns, places that is construction. I was wondering if it's just been hewn out of the rock, is it still considered a normal place, or is it now become...
Interesting. Roll a percentage roll for me, please.
Right. $42.
32?
42.
42. Okay. I think that using that would typically not work in a dungeon, but this place is new enough that it's still naturally occurring still. So even though this passage here has been hewn out and is dungeon corridor-like, I would think it's surrounded by enough natural earth that you still could use that.
Okay, so if I use that, I can get knowledge of up to 3 facts of my choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area. Now, I really don't care about terrain and bodies of water. I also don't really care about buildings. But it says I can ask about prevalent plants, minerals, animals, and people, powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, and influence from other planes of existence. So I would basically like to, and tell me if this would work or not, I guess, basically. And I totally understand why you might say it wouldn't. So you don't be afraid to, but I would try to use it.
No, it doesn't work. No, I was kidding. Go ahead. Wait.
I'm out of here. F4. I would like to use it basically to try and get a sense of if there is, people that have been by, or if there are people nearby, or if there is a source of some sort of otherworldly energy, which I assume or where this energy that we're feeling is emanating from, things of that nature. But yeah, I don't know that this spell would allow me to actually do that.
Well, I think you could certainly cast it and I think you could try to reach out with that.
Okay, so look, I will, we're here, so I will do it. As sort of this is going on, and he's throwing his dice and all that's going on, Ubold has sort of been walking around looking for a place that it's as close to natural rock as possible still, and he'll sit down in front of it, and he'll put his sickle in his lap, and just sort of cross his legs as best he can, and sort of just stay there, and then take a deep breath and just slowly start casting the spell under his breath as he's trying to get a sense of the place. And he'll start really in a sort of a breathing meditation technique where he starts focusing on himself, and then he expands that into the ground below him, and then forces it to sort of expand further out. And he will search for that, either for indication of peoples, or indication of some sort of fiends and things of that nature, but also indication of where some of this weird energy that we're feeling is coming from. Basically thinking the idea that it is unnatural and would stick out from the natural world around it, kind of thing. And that's what he does.
Definitely, yes. You feel that connection go down through the ground, through the rock formations here, into sections of the rock that are beyond where your natural, actual vision, your naked eye can show you. You reach out into that, and you feel the history of this place. It's not words, it's not sound, it's just flashes and glimpses of insight that come back into you. You get a glimpse of workers hewing out this hallway in front of you, and as they do, there was a robed figure wearing half a mask that makes their way down through them, who is looking and making sure that they are working on task, making sure that they are not being lax in their duties. This same figure, you get a glimpse of them in some sort of chamber below. All around them are freshly dug open graves. No headstones or any sort of markings, just a mass grave all around them, built into stone floor. You can see that the same figure, there's another flash of insight. They stand before a large golden door that has a symbol in the center of it that is interposed on each half so that the doors connect in together. And this figure reaches up and pulls a semicircular device out of the center of it. The same device that you get a very specific glimpse of, an insight of. It's the same device that Runa stole from you all. And you see beyond the door, beyond time, beyond history, you know there is something that reaches out its dark, tendrilled hand towards you. And as it reaches forward and tries to grab a hold of you, you are pulled out of the vision, and you are back in the room with the others as Sarah picks up her die, and everybody's looking at each other like, oh boy, look at those traps. And Nakanera is standing next to you, waiting, looking a little annoyed, actually. He's like, let's go kill something,
He's actually quite patient.
Oh, okay. All right, well, about me for assuming.
Yeah, so
Are you all right?
What did you see?
The darkness hides things. It hides the truth. My mentor, Ulfa, in her old age, she became blind, compounding the darkness. At first, I thought it was a cruel fate to have struck someone whose vision was already obscured by the world around her with utter blindness. However, she told me that this new darkness revealed things, new sounds, new smells, taught her to see in a different way. This is what the darkness did. It hides some things from us, but only if we don't alter what we are looking for. The ground does not lie, the stone does not lie. You learn to see through it. You learn to see things that are otherwise hidden. There is one not too far from here in a cave surrounded by death, open graves. There's one with half a mask covering their face, using the item that was taken from Ming Hill to open a door, and beyond this door lies some eldritch horror. Tendrils of blackness. They reached out for me, but the earth protected me. They are here not far, and they are on the cusp of succeeding. Whatever we do, we must do it fast.
Which passage should we take then?
Do I get a sense, Kevin?
The sense that you got was that this figure with the mask went straight through this corridor. And if you could make an insight check for me, please. I'll give you advantage because you got so much information. You have a really good idea of what's going on right here and what exactly this chamber is for now.
Awesome. So with advantage, that's 18 plus 5, so 23.
Okay. This, in front of you, what the alcoves that seem to look like branches of a tunnel are actually trapped formations. It's a tunnel that goes straight ahead, and each one of these alcoves, you would guess by the way you saw the workers putting in the traps that were revealed partially by Sarah's die, are that's how they get sprung. So it's really not a matter of different passageways to go, as opposed to how do you get past the traps in the corridor.
Okay. So I'll relay that information. It is not a matter of which corridor we go down along. It is a matter of being careful to avoid the traps in the alcoves on either side. It is not about where we go, but about how we go there.
So were there only traps in the alcoves? Nowhere else?
That's what you saw.
Yep. Okay.
That is what the earth told me.
All right. Let's move forward, I guess.
I suppose.
Stand up with the sickle with the light coming up again. Look at Sarah. You have a keener eye than most of us. You have been taught to look for things we have not been taught to look for. Would you guide us forward, and I will move close to you, right behind, with the light of day, and light your path.
The light of the daylight spell that is put upon the sickle, not daylight spell, but the daylight that's on the sickle is illuminates a lot more than your moonlit weapon did. So you can actually see further down the alcove, Sarah, and you do see that where it went across this bladed apparatus as it slid along the floor. You see it when it went into the other side. These little arms came down and hooked it. So it's basically set on the other side now. So it looks like there's some way it gets triggered. It slides across and then hooks in the other side so it can get re-triggered again.
Do you know how to stop these, Sarah?
I maybe. So it seems like it's triggered by the actual movement.
Possibly. Go ahead. Let's get a little more information here. Go ahead and make a investigation check.
17.
You would gather that there was something that triggered it. I mean, the die you wouldn't think would be heavy enough to, trigger a panel or a floor plate or something like that. So there was something when the die went through there that triggered these.
It seems to be most likely triggered by movement or light. The die wouldn't have been able to trigger anything else.
Perhaps then we need to extinguish our light and move in darkness.
I will. If everybody can extinguish their light, I might be able to have us move particularly well through here. I will reach into my bag and pull out what I think is, rather than like a proper scroll, just like something bound with energy here, and just focus in on it. And using one of my spell scrolls, I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace on the party here.
Okay.
If this is a temple of a liar, as you said, then perhaps the obvious thing being that we would like to use light to light our way, then perhaps we must do the opposite of that and walk in the darkness.
As we get close to one of the first traps, if I could go first. Got all this armor and the shield, and just to test it and see.
Yeah, I'm sure I could do that too, but no, yeah,
Well,
definitely you should do it.
Yeah. Sure.
If you don't mind, I feel a little bit better about things if you'd let me lead the way. And Dubold, if I could borrow your maul. So I will take the maul from Ubold, and in leading everyone down, my intention is to ready an attack if the thing triggers. I want to try to attack the arm and like just bend it.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So that it can't reset. So even if I do get hit by the trap, it at least stops it from resetting.
Gotcha. Okay. So, marching order, just to be sure, we have Nakanair's going first. Who's next?
I mean, I can go.
I think that's it.
Emmeline.
And then Ubel, do you want the back, or what do you think?
Matters not to me.
All right, then I will go next, and Ubel can take up the rear.
Sarah, and then Ming Hill, who's being uncharacteristically quiet during all this. Okay, well, I believe I'll go right in front of you, friend. He says, kind of patting your arm for a second. He looks a little worried, you see.
You're not a little one.
I turned to Minghill. Has anybody ever told you that you're sometimes hard to be around?
Only my ex-wife, but that's another tale for another time.
Does that not surprise me?
And with that, you all extinguish your light sources. Ming Hill says something in the gnomish tongue again, and all of your weapons flicker out, and all of the last remnants of the light are gone. You are all completely enshrouded in darkness at this point, much darker than the eternal night of the surface above. This dark is ever encroaching, and you are about to walk through it. So, Nakanair, as you go first in the dark, please roll a stealth check.
Okay.
Now, Pass Without a Trace was cast by Sarah, so you're going to get a plus 10 on
So
this.
that's a total of 25 then.
Okay. And Nakanair, you move through the dark as silent as a wolf stalking its prey. You move forward, and as you know, you have a general sense of the distance of how the hallway was. As you pass through where that first alcove would be, nothing happens.
Okay. I will stand in the proximity, because like those of us with dark vision can still see. It's just less than normal, right?
Yes, it's very muted. It would be like half distance, I guess.
Gotcha.
You would call it.
Okay.
On the camera.
Nakanair does have dark vision, so he will stand in the proximity of where he knows the trap is ostensibly in the vicinity, and wave for everyone to keep moving.
Okay.
Readying to attack the blades should they come out.
Absolutely.
I will touch everyone lightly on the shoulder as they proceed forward and give them guidance to help on the check.
You can only
Excellent.
actually give it to one person because it's a concentration spell.
Yeah, but the first person passes and then I drop and do it to the second one.
Sure, fair enough.
Emmeline, you said you would be next, so if you could, make a stealth test. You also get that plus 10.
And the +4 from the guidance.
And the +4 from the guidance.
D4.
Yep.
D4, sorry, yes.
One of the most broken spells in all of D&D.
Hey, that is a 25.
Okay. And you slink through the dark as well, despite all of the armor that you wear, the light. There is a very faint light that still is always around you due to your connection of your order, but it's muted enough that as you pass through, nothing happens as well. Sarah, stealth test.
Let's do this.
4 million.
Yeah,
You are the knight.
it's just a
Gold.
infinity symbol.
38.
Jesus.
Briefly, Sarah disappears.
Yeah.
God.
Don't
becomes
forget the
shadows.
guidance.
Oh,
D4
yeah.
from guidance.
Let's throw an extra guidance on there. Why not?
Break 40.
All right, make that a 42, baby.
Oh. Nice.
Wow.
Yes,
I don't exist.
that's it.
for but a moment.
She's at the end of the hall. What's taking you guys so long? Come on.
I've been here for 3 days.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Ming Hill is going to roll.
Come on, buddy.
Okay. With his plus 10 from the Pass Without a Trace, that's going to be a 27. Or should be 28. And then, Ubold.
Sneaky little
Watch me
bastard.
fail miserably.
Natural 1.
No, actually, it's not too bad. 24.
24. Okay. You all move down through the hallway. Some of you go past knocking there because he has positioned himself in case anything's going to jump out at you guys. So you all make it about a third of the way down the hallway, and you all are safe for now. You all wait a moment. Nothing happens.
I will once again keep leading the way.
Okay. For the sake of making this quick and for the sake of brevity, just go ahead and make 2 stealth tests at the same time, and we'll just narrate how you get through the rest of the hallway instead of stopping each person along the way.
That I
Actually, let's just do this instead. Everybody, let's do a group test of stealth twice. We'll do it that way. So, like, everybody in the group will roll stealth, and we'll kind of determine there's 5 of you, so you need to have 2 successes out of the 5 of you rolling to successfully get to the next section, then we'll do that again. Just to...
How does a nat 20 do you?
I got a net 22.
Oh,
That's funny on the
nice.
second roll also.
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
We just
We're
blew
fucking-
all our nat 20s. We're
Everybody
it.
nat 20s. We're all fucking.
I'm glad you guys rolled well because I, even with the bonuses, only got 17s.
Yikes.
Okay.
And I
got
actually have
seven-
a decent stealth skill too.
You got 17 for both of them?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So as you all are moving forward again, I would think that the way it just happens to move out, as you start to move forward, knocking there because you're still in the lead, as you begin to move forward, there is a scuffling of your boots along the floor, and you hear one of these blades sliding towards you, and make a dexterity save.
Okay. Do have advantage on this, so that is a 21.
Okay. You're going to take half damage as you get out of the way of it. So half damage is going to be 7, but and you're not raging, so that's what the
Yep.
total is. And you make an attack roll because you can partially see in the dark. There's no disadvantage or anything, so go ahead and make an attack roll to hit that arm. It's going to be an armor class of 15.
29.
Okay, yeah, but you hit it, and you do your damage to it. When you don't need to roll, you hit it, and yeah, you bend it just like you intended. It's kind of off kilter and broken, and so when the blade slides through, it doesn't have anything to latch on. So the spring inside just kind of, there's like a sound as it snaps. It doesn't catch on anything, and the blade just stops, and it's loose in its track. You can actually pull a little bit, and it's tough to move, but it can slide freely, but it's out of the way. Yeah.
Cool.
And then as you all continue down the last third of the hallway, both you and Ming Hill are not quiet enough, and you both spring the traps again. I'm going to say, because you're in the front, you can go ahead and make another dexterity save.
Natural 20, 23.
Okay, and make an attack roll like you did with the other one before to swing out at, I attack the darkness.
24 to hit.
Okay, and same thing as before, you bend it, and so because you bend it and snap that one off, just like the other one, it actually kinks and it's off the track, leaning against the wall of the alcove, completely inoperable. Because of that, Ming Hill isn't going to be attacked by it because you damaged it before he got through there.
How much damage did I take?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, let me roll that. 5.
Okay.
And you all get through the corridor, and as you do, you come out to the other side. It's still dark. Everything is dark down here. There's no sconces or any sort of ephemeral light. It's all just completely dark down here.
I hand the maul back to damn it, I've just forgotten Christian's
Ubold?
character, Ubold. Yes, back to Ubold, and say, yeah, I miss it sometimes, but it's okay.
You may borrow it any time you need it.
Nice.
Wow. Some real bro bonding.
Over
Really
the
cool,
hammer.
guys.
That's a nice hammer you have. Thank you.
Do any of you do anything for a light source, or do you just stay in the dark here? You don't notice your dark vision is starting to recede even more. It's getting deeper and darker down here. You are starting not to even have your dark vision work all that well.
I think so. Part of the Gloomstalker effect is that you can't see Sarah if you require dark vision to see her. So I think as everybody's dark vision is receding, she's just becoming harder and harder to see, like almost phasing in and out of existence.
I love that.
So I think she's committed to staying in the dark. So she's like, feels like dark working great for us. So
Maybe some of us. Can Ubold pull out his sickle once again? Because if he had sheathed it, that would have blocked the daylight. So you still have the daylight, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. And as you pull it out, there's still that same effect of the outsides of the perimeter of the light is still muted. There's like a weird cloying of shadow that is moving and just drifting around it. Unnatural. But you still have a light source. It's just not as bright as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can light something up as well. Should we? This is too
If
much?
this is enough to get us by, we should stick with just this. No need to advertise our presence even further to the denizens of the dark here.
Fair.
As I start stomping my way forward.
Yeah.
oh,
You
boy.
make your way ahead, and there is a sharp turn in the hallway that you take off to the right, and it goes down rather steeply on some stairs that are very narrow down into the recesses of the earth once more. As you all go down, you can tell it's very steep, so you take your time to make it down there without slipping and falling and hurting yourselves. And it takes some time, and you do get down there. And as you get to the base of the platform at the bottom of these stairs, it opens up into a higher ceiling down here. Again, this is a natural corridor, but you can tell that somebody has smoothed away the area to make it larger. And directly across from you all, at the other end of this chamber that it opens up into, is 2 large golden doors that are closed with a symbol between them. But what you notice as you step into the front, not in air because you're still in the lead, is the wheel apparatus that Runa stole is still in the center of the door. It's attached to the door. The doors, I should say, because they're closed, two of them. So apparently she's already used the key to open these doors, but they're currently closed.
Cool. Not concerning at all.
I will immediately step forward and push them open.
As you step forward towards the doors and you reach up to push them forward, your vision goes black for a moment, and you feel a presence creep into you. And a voice from somewhere says, "There is a price you must pay to enter here, North Wolf." And something reaches into your mind. And if you could please, Nakanair, tell me of a memory of your past that is very, like a core memory that you have. Something of your past that has made Nakanair who he is today.
So, the most prominent one in his mind would be the day that he had to bury his wife and child. Years back now, because he doesn't track age and seasons and years in the same way that others do, he had to watch them perish under an avalanche that had completely and utterly crushed them. And he had proceeded for days to dig through the result to find them, pulling out their cold bodies and finding a place at the top of the mountain where the avalanche had started to put them to their final rest. And that was where when he first felt the true cold of the North.
Absolutely. And as that memory is clear, as if you are experiencing it now, as whatever these tendrils are unseen to you close around that memory and grasp it, you have a choice to make. You can recall that there is a price to be paid to enter into here. As Zatar put it, you need to give up a piece of your soul. So, in this moment, you must decide, are you going to sacrifice this memory, have these tendrils pull it from you, and so you lose this memory, or do you lose a piece of yourself?
I don't think Nakanair has a choice in it. I don't feel like it's something that he chooses per se, as much as the memory just goes from him. It's not a memory that he is happy to hold on to. So I think in some ways, kind of as I hinted earlier, anyone that would take a piece of his soul would get the short end of it. I think that the memory goes, and he just feels the cold of the North now, and doesn't have any concept as to why, and I don't think it even would matter to him anymore.
Okay. The tendrils pull it free, and the cold around you engulfs you completely as the memory of that moment. You still remember them. You remember that they are no longer here, but you don't remember that specific memory of digging them out and laying them to rest. That is lost to you. It is pulled from you. It recedes into the dark. And you all watch that instead of the doorway opening, Nakanair goes through it and disappears. Emmeline, you were next in the order, or do you want to pause and take a moment as you all look to each other and realize what's going on?
I think Emmeline would just look back to the group and just kind of nod and step forward.
Okay. You step forward and you tentatively, or do you do it with purpose? You touch the door? What's your
Oh, yeah.
mindset here?
Yeah, I'll just go right up and touch the door.
Okay. And as you do, there is that same feeling the Knockin' experienced. The dark rushes forward to grab you, and your memory of a moment that was very defining for you comes to the forefront. Tell us about that, please.
So, for Emmeline, it's the first time that she killed a monster. It was certainly one of the most exhilarating moments of her life, but it was also when she realized the truth of her calling. That the gift that she has is more than just a kind heart, that she can use her power, harness her power to destroy evil that is currently just plaguing the world. So not only does she have the ability to bring light, but she can also obliterate the darkness, and that feeling of understanding that the what would normally be considered I guess like a negative thing, the violence and the action there became a strength, and it helped her to understand exactly what she needs to be doing here.
Absolutely. Violence and pain is something that most people avoid, but in one such as yourself, a Knight Hospitaller who is destined to seek out and help others, it is a burden that you have chosen to accept. And as the tendrils close around the memory of you slaying that monster and becoming more powerful, do you give it up? Do you sacrifice that moment, or do you sacrifice something else?
She will sacrifice the moment, because while it was the time that this all sort of clicked for her and was just this big moment of understanding, she knows that if she were to forfeit a part of her soul, she might lose the ability that she has, and it's safer to hold on to that, because even if she doesn't have that memory, if she's got her soul, she knows she'll continue to fight the good fight. So yeah, she'll toss the memory.
Absolutely. It is pulled from you, and much like I explained with Knockin' you feel that moment, you revel in it, and it is gone. You don't remember exactly. It's just hazy what happened that first time you slayed a monster. And the rest of you watch as Emmeline now follows suit through the door.
As Emmeline goes through, I think Sarah takes like a big step back and looks at Ubold, and I think you see not the same look of like terror you saw earlier, but like more childlike, like looking at a child who has just watched something happen that they not only don't understand, but that they are terrified of, primarily because they don't understand what is happening. And she just looks between Ubold and Minghill and the door.
You need not go through, sir. You can wait for us to return. This is not something that can and should be asked of anyone. You've done a lot, but there's still much for you to do. You can sit this one out.
I think she's just silent and with like wide eyes just kind of steps back and stares at the door.
On the other hand, memories. Well, we can always make new ones, better ones. It's sometimes useful to jettison the old things we don't need so that they no longer burden us. This may be an opportunity.
Based on your words, Ming Hill seems to be emboldened by the fact that you said this, and you're right. I have waited my entire life for this, and he's going to push past the two of you, and he walks up, and right as he's about to touch the door, he stops, takes a resounding breath, and steadies himself, and with a very strong, calm stance, he touches the door, and is gone, leaving the two of you in the chamber.
I can't.
You can choose not to enter past the door into the Vault of the Ancients if you do not wish to. It is an option you have. But you have seen your other companions go. You see Obald is standing there looking at you and has strength and support for you, but it is ultimately that choice that you and you alone must make. So,
What is frightening you so?
When I joined the darts, it was because I was trying to leave behind so much. So I don't know which is worse. Having to remember it right now and continue on with that memory, or forgetting it and not knowing why I left in the first place.
You left because the person you are now knew it was not the place for you any longer. With or without that memory, you will still be this person that does not need them any longer. It will not change that. Have faith in yourself. Trust that you have made the right decision, and you will make it again when called upon to do so. Because it is who you are now.
I think Sarah looks up at Ubald. If I come out different on the other side, just know that I didn't want to do any of this. And she'll step forward and put her hand on the door.
okay. And as that darkness envelops you, what do we see? What do you relive in that moment?
I think the image we see is a young Sarah, probably 13, 14 years old, standing outside of a house, watching as tendrils of darkness attempt to pull the house down into the earth, and she watches it crumble. She realizes that she never really felt at home here, but realizes that now that the darkness has made this decision for her, she has no real home anymore. And she just turns and runs. And it was on that day that she decided that she was going to reinvent herself and keep going as far away from here as possible, becoming as much of a different person as she could. And it was within 48 hours she was part of the darts. And I think the last image we get is just her running away from a inky black circle in the earth as this kind of hungry darkness pulls at things from around her, literally eating her past alive.
As you run from that darkness in the past, in your present, as you're here with your companions, that darkness is hungry still and wants that memory. Do you let it have it?
I think on Ubal's words and think he might be right to let go of memories, but I also remember that Ming Hill is my first opportunity to maybe figure out this has been, and I steel myself, and I think I'm not going to run away this time. And I don't let go of the memory. I hold on to it.
Okay. As you continue your passageway through the rest of the door, please roll a 1d4. Your Constitution score is now permanently reduced by 4.
All right, cool.
And Ubold, as you watch Sarah be strong and move through the door, you are alone in the chamber. Somewhere deep within your soul, the secret flame burns, and you know that this is part of your path to continue on. What do you do?
Step forward towards the door.
Okay.
Extend a hand and touch it.
Excellent. And as you are the last of the companions to go through the door, and the darkness comes up and threatens to swallow the secret flame that you keep close to you, what do you see in your moment of choice?
I see nothing. There is a darkness. During his hermitage, Ubold encountered a darkness so deep, so vast, so empty, that the darkness outside no longer held any power over him, any fear for him. This darkness that he encountered was one inside of him, as he had removed himself from society to live alone, to await his end, because in his mind there was nothing to do. The darkness had settled upon this land, and there was nothing to do but wait for the ending. And that darkness scared him more than the darkness outside. And that is when he realized that he had to confront one of the two. And the one he could do something about was the one outside, and so he left his hermitage and returned back to society and met these people and found himself on the steps that he has taken here.
Absolutely. And in this moment, as you face down the darkness, it looks into you and it sees that other darkness. Do you continue to carry that with you, or do you leave that at the door as you pass through with your friends?
This darkness inside that scared him was the impetus for him to spring back into action, the catalyst for him to decide to live once more, essentially. He has new reasons to do so now. He has moved himself out of his torpor, and so no longer needs it, and so will gladly let it go.
Okay. That memory is pulled out of you, and as that darkness that you gazed upon leaves you for a moment, it is replaced with something else. A vision, perhaps of the future, perhaps of the past, you're not entirely sure, a meteor burning through the night, bright and sinister, making its way down towards the surface of Nier. And in that sight, you know there's a moment of change that is coming. And we'll find out exactly what that change is as our journey is concluded next week, next Friday. This has been a blast. Thank you all for tuning back in. Thank you all for playing. This was episode 2, The Archivist's Lament. And we're done for tonight. But before we sign off, I want to say some thank yous very quickly and let everybody have a chance to say thank you and where they can be found. So first off, I want to say thank you to the RPG Academy for letting us be hosted here. This is a really cool favor they're doing for us. They are good folks. You should check out all their other content as well. Really cool stuff. They play games. They review stuff. They've got a ton of cool stuff that's going on. So we're happy to be here. So thank you. I want to thank Jason Forbus and Ali Ribelli for creating Notte Eterna and letting us play it. This is a premiere here in the US of the game, and it's currently on Kickstarter. You can find it in the links that are trolling around at the bottom of our screen. Please go back, and it's great. There's lots of stretch goals that have already been unlocked, and you can get the quick start adventure where you can play and you can experience the world like these characters are. I want to thank my players, of course. I want to thank Neutral Party for the map that we used tonight. I also want to thank Tabletop Audio for the music that's been jamming out as we've been playing tonight. And special thanks to Miko for producing while he's playing. He's a champ. And yeah, this has been great. So thank you all very much. I want to thank the players. I want to thank you at home. So let us have all of you go ahead real quick, tell us who you are, where you can be found, and let's revel in you for a moment now that your players can take a rest for the night. So Bleak Season, please tell us what you are up to, sir.
I am Bleak Season. I can be found at the Bleak Season on Twitter and most places throughout the internet. Currently playing and running games with Guild Superior. You can next see me on Tuesday in DM Dave's Heroes of Greyhawk continuing adventures as we attempt to clear the classic Moathouse dungeon of the Greyhawk World, where I play a dwarven storm cleric named Lachlan Feldspar. And that is what I'm up to. I will have some more stuff coming down the pike, but for now, it's a little of a rest period. So super happy to have been here. Thanks. It was great. Such great role playing by everyone.
Yes, great stuff.
I am in the presence of greatness. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you right back, my friend. Yeah, great stuff. So thank you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. So Beth, hello. Thank you for being here tonight. Go ahead and tell everybody where you can be found and what you're up to, because you also do a lot of stuff too.
I am Beth. Hi. I can be found on both Instagram and Twitter at Beth Masco. And I can also be found this upcoming Monday for Monday Night Mayhem at the Guild Superior channel. You'll hear more about what it is that I'm doing there in probably just a moment. But yeah, this is a blast. Really fun setting and fun people. So can't wait for next time.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Beth. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're up to on Monday. Gainer made the ultimate sacrifice to get through the door tonight. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We love you for that. Great moment to see how that affects you going forward. So yeah, tell us what you're up to, where you can be found, and what you're doing out there.
Yeah, hey, what's up, gang? My name is Gainer. You can find me on Twitter and anywhere really on social media at Gaynorcott. It's GAYNORCOTT. I did in fact choose to make a sacrifice tonight. Did I know that was going to happen? No, but I am kind of glad I did it because, let's add one more edgelord point onto something. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me monthly over on twitch.tv/thornydryad, running a game of Masks RPG called U-Force Inheritance. A fantastic cast over there. We are going to start bringing on some guest stars coming up here too. We have some really exciting guests lined up, so I'm super excited about that. Also, upcoming shows and projects are coming out too, so keep an eye on that. And hey, weird time to plug it, but if you are a fan of the YA series Warriors about cats in the woods, or know anybody who is, I have a podcast called Two Leg Talks, which is a podcast about me and a friend from college going back and rereading a pivotal series from our childhood and rereading it with new eyes, and it is wild. There's a lot of murder in those books, so
a little bit.
go check that out. And that is all for me for now. But keep an eye out for projects coming in the future. And thanks to everybody here for inviting me in. I'm having a real blast and super excited to see what happens in part 3.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you so much. Finally, we're going to go over to Miko, our producer and also Nakanair. So thank you, good friend. Tell us what you're up to and what you're producing. Maybe Beth was hinting that you know what's going on Monday. I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea what Beth was talking about. Hi, I'm Miko. I am the okayest GM. You can find me on all the socials at _okayest_GM. Hit up my Twitter. You'll see links to pretty much everything that I'm doing. As Beth had hinted, I have a part 3 of a 4-part game on Monday on the Superior Adventures Guild channel that is set in my own homebrew world of Easterra. It's some pretty amazing storytelling going on there. The cast, Beth included, are exceptional and doing some really fun stuff over there. So yeah, check out my Twitter and see all those cool things that are going on.
Excellent. Yeah, we definitely will. Yeah, we appreciate you being here and doing all the cool stuff that you've done. This has been a blast. I am Kevin. I'm found online at Kev Ran Games. I'm also the host of the Game Night Heroes podcast, an audio podcast where we tell narrative stories like this. And I've also done some stuff on Guild Superior with these cool, fine folks. And I also have tomorrow I'm on the Murder Hobo Inc. stream where we are playing our B-side. I'm playing the geriatric creep who is really good at putting cups and likes to blow shit up. But that's neither here nor there. And also on Sunday on Guild Superior, I'm going to be one of the forecast members of a Mothership 5-week playthrough that we're doing, which is run by Channel Game Master Dave. It's going to be awesome sauce. Great system. Very cool stuff. But this has been Notte Eterna, which, as I said, you can back on Kickstarter right now. Please do. And if you do, tell them that we sent you because we'd love to know that we're making friends out there. But we will do this again next week where the journey of these 3, whether they make it or not, or these 3, these 4, these 5, who knows how many there are, will come together. Yeah, hopefully I do. Who knows? We'll conclude and we'll set the scene for Notte Eterna as it moves into the last couple weeks of the Kickstarter. So this has been a joy. Thank you all so very much for playing. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, may the moon smile upon you. Good night, everybody.
It is an ancient world. Forged in darkness and blood. The gods have forgotten us. The immortals fall from the heavens, and terrors roam the land. Thousands of years I have waited, deep in the bowels of the earth. The seal will soon be broken. Lose your hopes, mortals. Your doom is near.